Welcome to Saber Talk Live. I am high above the planet. I'm here with with one of my best buddies, JEDI Arms Dealer. I don't know if you guys have seen him on YouTube. He's got some amazing builds that we'll talk about and some amazing work that he's done regarding lightsabers. There's just one thing I want to ask. I want to ask JEDI Arms Dealer first is, are you safe? Are you all right?
I am, so
Good.
far. The Empire has not infiltrated this area yet, but I see some ships off in the distance, so.
Nice. See, I would have had to crush the entire room if something had happened.
Yeah, well, you probably have to cut the transmission so they can't trace where you're transmitting from. That would be bad.
Yeah, that would be bad if I was located.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yep.
So how are you holding up?
I'm holding up. You know,
Nice.
It's a little weird seeing what's going on out there and people cleaning out the shelves and stuff, and it's a little strange. You know, you go through that whole capitalism versus, not to go political or anything, but capitalism versus other societies that are a little more controlled. So advantages, disadvantages, all that. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's I think we're like in flux as far as like what to think. Some people are ahead of others as far as what they know. You know, some people, like you said before, you're like trying to avoid stuff. Maybe it's because you know too much stuff already. You know, maybe because it's scary.
Yeah.
You know, then you got people who are just kind of like also trying to avoid it. Maybe just not in a position to like learn about what's going on. So it's, you know, it just becomes like with the unknown becomes scary. And it certainly is one of those situations, you know.
Absolutely.
Where like there's a lot of unknowns. People are in different levels of understanding of what's happening. People are in different levels of understanding about like what might happen, what's going to happen. Nobody really knows either. So yeah, definitely a situation, you know. Definitely a situation. Are you in the middle of any like lightsaber projects that can keep you busy at home? You got the parts for it that you could work on?
Oh yeah, it glitched out there for like the last 10 seconds. So.
Oh, I think I was just saying. You know, everyone's kind of in the same position about like unknown, like not knowing what's going to happen. And then I was asking you about, you know, do you have projects at home that you have the parts for, or, you know, that you could work on in the meantime while you wait at home?
Everything. What's so strange about this, and I joke with Barbara about it, is when wintertime rolls around, I pull everything up out of the garage, drill press. Now I got the micro mill up here now. All my tools are literally in the bedroom for wintertime because it gets chilly down in the garage. And so I literally have every tool in my arsenal right here in the bedroom. So if I have to seriously quarantine, I'm set for a while in here building sabers for months at a time straight. The only thing I don't have up here, because of the fumes that it puts out, is the laser cutter. So that's got to have like an HVAC ventilation system, and so that has to stay in the garage. But, you know, I could run down there and, you know, knock out a couple parts type of thing. No worries there. But, yeah, I got everything right here in the room. Plenty of
That's
stuff.
awesome.
Matter of fact, my favorite case that I planned on showing off is, you know, we got our bins, right? We all got our bins of stuff. And so hopefully I won't spill this, but this is the Kyber crystal case. This is stuff from all around the world.
Oops, 1 second.
Yeah.
I want to make your screen big. Hold on.
Okay, cool. Oh, there we go.
No, hold up.
Yeah,
Nope.
This is stuff I've collected over the last decade from all over the world. So if anything, I got plenty of Kyber crystals just to like hang out with. I don't know if you can see that. Try not to spill it in front of.
There we go.
There you go. Oh wow, that's a cool cool system that you can do all this. But yeah, every color under the
Oh,
rainbow.
wow. So you have a huge selection
Spheres,
there. Yeah, no worries on the
terminated
crystals.
stuff, and then here's all your aqua auras over here.
Those are
I'm
sweet.
set on kyber crystals. I'm happy about that. Because if all else fails, you need your kyber crystals, right?
You better be worried about the Empire coming for you. They are definitely coming for you when they sense all them crystals.
Right. Start offering big money. Or, no, they'll just take over. What am I saying?
They'll just take over. No, but you aren't as dumb as Maz Kanata, where you're screaming, you know, wanted people's names out loud in a crowded bar and stuff like that. You know,
right?
you're only on Saber Talk talking about your crystals. So I think
Yeah.
we're safe here. Lots of light side people, lots of lightsaber fans. So no one's going to turn you in.
Agreed. Yeah, and since we're broadcasting on that whole underground channel that no one can find, we're good to go.
Broadcasting from high above the planet. I got Jim Smith in the chat. MCS Studio. How are you guys doing today? Happy St. Patty's Day. I am wearing my green. I'm wearing my my patch that Irv sent me. It's got a green lightsaber on it as well. Irv from Plector Labs. Solid Sabers. What's the good word? St. Patty's Day. We're just chilling, trying to you know, discuss lightsabers and keep everyone's mind off of going outside. You know, hunker down, stay inside, watch Saber Talk. Jedi Arms Dealer here has some crazy builds. I have one of them up on the screen right here. He's, you know, just showed you guys his bin of crystals. Some of the some of the stuff he makes. Like this is probably the I don't know why I started with the craziest one, but
that one made me crazy.
Yeah, if you guys can see this, this is like a fully this is like a giant. Well, no, I know why I started with this, because you just showed your whole crystal collection, and this is basically the crown jewel of your crystal collection, which is a giant crystalline lightsaber. It's basically, I'll let you talk about it, but it's basically a lightsaber core, fully functional lightsaber core inside of a crystal shell, and it's quite amazing. This whole thing lights up, and then you could actually open this up and get the fully functional inner chassis, which is really wild. Can you hear me okay, Master Jedi?
It cut out for a good 10 seconds, but I could tell you were just kind of explaining, you know, the saber, so I'm with you.
Yeah, whenever you want to, I want to hear you talk about this. I was saying how there's a you know, an inner chassis that's like independent and works on its own here. Is this the one that has like rotational stuff in there?
It does.
It's like got the motor. Oh my god! Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to pack it with as much stuff, you know, that I had learned in 2019 with, you know, the rotating crystal chamber with a motor in it. It has 3 antennas in the inside of it, so it has a Bluetooth audio transmitter, so I can, you know, send the audio to headphones or my car stereo or the surround sound system in the living room, which is crazy fun. And then the other antenna in it is like, before I figured out how to do Bluetooth transmission, started incorporating Bluetooth with just being able to switch the Saber on and off with the car alarm remote. And like I used to install car stereos and car stereo alarms. One of the first jobs I had out of the military was installing those. And so I was like, hey, you know what? It'd be really simple to get a wireless RF receiver transmitter for a car alarm. And the one that I found has a button for the auxiliary and the main. And so you can control the whole Saber with just 2 buttons on a remote control.
Yeah,
like car alarm.
You've got a whole video about, was it this Saber in the video where you displayed the Bluetooth and it was just wild? It was wild out of your car, or was it your Glass Flex?
No, it was this one because I wanted to hear the smooth swing on the car stereo. I wanted to hear, what the bass tones sounded like, and it's unreal. I mean, some of the fonts, like, especially like, Rob's fonts, he just has the bass tuned so well for like these big systems. And Mad Cow's fonts are just like Desolation. As soon as I fired it up, you can see me in the video. I'm like, I mean, my whole body's vibrating, and I was just like blown away the
I
first
bet
time I
you.
swung it.
I bet you the Lord Blako fonts would be pretty wild out of the car too. You probably tried some of those.
Yeah, I got to try quite a few, but I didn't want to make the video, super long. But yeah, some of the hums in there just literally rattle your bones coming off the car stereo. It's pretty surreal. It's a lot of fun, that whole thing.
Yeah, anybody that isn't subscribed to Jedi Arms Dealer, go over there and subscribe. He's got this video that we're talking about right now about the Bluetooth coming out of one of his Profi lightsabers here, the Illumos, the lightsaber you're looking at on the screen, which is like a fully crystal lightsaber. And he's got this video where you're, displaying that big sound coming out of your car stereo through the Bluetooth. It's just, I mean, you went through a lot of trouble, getting it to sync up properly and like work properly. It's not the easiest thing in the world to get that to work so well. But it sounds great. It sounds crazy.
Yeah, it took a couple years to figure that out. Of me literally buying the little transmitters that go inside. They call them dongles, like Bluetooth dongles that you plug in to the front of your car stereo, and they have like a mini jack. And I was literally cracking those open. I must have bought 20 of them until I found one that would actually do the job and be clear and no static. And but the problem is because of the way the Chinese markets sort of advertise these things, I would buy one that once I found the one that I liked, I would buy one where the advertising looked identical. They had all the same stock photography for it and everything. And I'd order it from China, and I'd wait 2 weeks and it would show up, and it was a totally different version with a totally different serial number. So it's really frustrating to find that one transmitter chip that I found that actually works. And so it's been a challenge. And then you've got some range issues. Now with the acrylic, it works way better because the RF signal for Bluetooth is not trying to get out of a metal hilt. It's literally going through acrylic, which does not block the signal at all. But I've only been able to get about a maximum of 30 feet range out of it with the car started. For some reason, that boosts the voltage on the the car stereo end of things, and so I'm able to get a lot. Like if I shut the car off, like I did in the video, you notice I'm standing right next to the car. If I walk away more than a couple feet, it'll start to cut out and stuff. So, it's still glitchy. I'm still experimenting with it and trying to figure out how to add like an external antenna to extend the range. So I'm still constantly experimenting with it and trying to make it better.
Yeah, I guess you kind of like lucked
fun.
out with your design.
When you get it going, and you're like, down in the garage or, in your spaceship destiny, there's nothing better than putting on a nice set of Bluetooth headphones that are low delay Bluetooth headphones, and just losing yourself in the garage for hours because it's, you're surrounded in it. It feels like VR when you have the headphones on. It's incredible.
Yeah, you've been telling me about that for I think like a year to do that.
Yeah. Yep. I can't wait for you to see, when you do it. I want to see your reaction.
Yeah.
I think I sent you, because I only was able to get a hold of about 2 or 3 of those cards. Because like I said, it's hard navigating through the Chinese market on this stuff. And so I sent you one of them. And yeah, you have to record your reaction when you finally put the headphones on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Good stuff.
The Red Raven is in the chat. He's happy about another Saber talk.
Cutting out again.
Thanks for being here. Yeah, I think it might be
If you
on
can
your
hear me,
end
Space,
that
let me close out all my apps on the
okay,
iPad and let's see if this clears up the audio a little better. Hold on.
that should help. Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. Free up some processor, right?
Yeah. Because your video was like going still a couple of the times, but the audio remained during those times. So I think it was trying to compensate.
Well, let's see if that helps. I did a speed test just before we got on here to make sure, you know, everything's flowing smooth and we're at full bandwidth. What might be happening is, you know, with everybody hitting the news and Facebook and everything, you know, because everyone's home, it could be internet traffic, because I've been experiencing that on other sites, like even Amazon. I was trying to organize some food drop-offs and stuff, and even Amazon's crawling, so it's over. The net's pretty loaded up right now.
Mm.
Yeah. Are you experiencing that on your end at all?
You know, even before this whole thing, like, well, with the internet, you know, like, I don't know if it's my side or your side, or like you're saying, just overall, like maybe everyone's streaming, everyone's on YouTube, or everyone's using the internet. But even before this started, I'll pull up another window I want to show you. You know, you said you have a lot of parts at home and stuff. I've been looking for these parts on, you know, I want to talk about this one thing. Now, I should have probably done my research a little bit beforehand, but let me look. Where's this thing? I'm looking for the custom saber shop. Where is my custom saber shop window?
Shout out to Tim, amazing guy.
Yeah, somebody's like taking from what I hear, it might not be, like, it might not just be one person. I don't know who it is, but somebody's like taking like TCSS parts and stuff. I don't know if you're aware that, like, you know, things have been out of stock for a while at TCSS, right? So these are like main bodies for your lightsaber. When you look under the modular hilt system V1, you will see like any of these are out of stock. So basically, if you want to make a saber with, you know, a main body, which is kind of like necessary,
Right.
it's been out of stock for a while. So I think they're hard at work. They post on Facebook and stuff like that. They're making parts. The disturbing thing is that what Harris told me the other day, see, look at all this. A lot of out of stock stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, I don't know what's going on, and I haven't really looked into the eBay stuff, but Harris told me that like a lot of these parts are on eBay and they're not normal price.
As in cheaper or more?
More, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like scalping these parts. So
Oh, we're back to that, huh? Like with the crystal focus boards.
oh, here's my buddy Sword of the Jedi, Clinton. What's going on, buddy? Thanks for being here. Pegleg Pete, thanks for being here. But you know, I don't know, you know, like, I'm sure I could find those main bodies on eBay. I just don't want to buy it for more money. Like, I think that's weird. I think that's
Agreed.
really weird. Like, you know, back in the day when it was happening with like the Plector board, I mean, even still, people still try to do it. Like, there's someone on eBay trying to sell crystal focus board for $500. Now, if anybody goes over to the sound section of Custom Saber Shop and you click on sound modules, you'll see that the Crystal Focus 10 is available. It's $85. So there's no rush on Crystal Focus soundboards right now. That person's been on eBay since November, though, trying to sell for I don't know if he sells for 500. I don't know if he buys over here, goes on eBay, makes $415.
Wow.
you know, but
Does it show his country of origin on eBay?
Maybe I haven't like looked into it too much. I haven't, you know, I used to have like more time on my hands to like be like Batman and start investigating this stuff, but it's like I just don't have any time. I don't have any time for this crap, but it's just like I'm just so mad about that stuff, you know what I mean? I don't like that.
Scalping.
Yeah, like it's bad.
Yeah.
It's like it happens everywhere, I guess. Like it happens with the products that people need right now, and it happens with the products that you don't need. You just want them, and people are tricking people and stuff.
The audio cut out for a second. Does it show his country of origin on the eBay sale? This guy that's doing this?
Yeah, I was saying like it's possible that it does. I just haven't like looked into it too much. Yeah. But I get a like a notification when, like, just for the past like 10 years on eBay. That's kind of where like my SpaceWIndu name started on eBay. It was like 2002, 2003. I wanted a name to just go on eBay with, and I thought it was like the movies were coming out. Episode 3, episode 2 was out, episode 1 was out. I said, you know, instead of MaceWindu, SpaceWindu, made an eBay name, started going on eBay, started, you know, noticing stuff like that happening for like a really long time. It happened with like Plector products, you know, back in like 2008 and basically since, you know. I'm sure it could happen with the Profi too. It's like if there's a shortage with the Profi at all, or if there's somebody on there with the Profi. I don't get notifications for Profi. There's probably people, you know, maybe you get a Profi for 65 bucks, whatever you get it for. There's probably someone on eBay selling Profi for 150, 200, 300. I don't know what they're doing, you know.
They've actually, because I've been watching that pretty closely, they've actually been really well behaved with that whole thing. I don't think I've ever seen a Profi go for more, you know, than $80 that came with an SD card that was guaranteed to work out of the box or even somewhat pre-programmed.
Oh, that's great then.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. But there was a guy recently, you know, because Frederick has all of the plans out there, the diagrams, the electronic diagrams, for free, because it's open source, for anybody to download those plans, take it to a PCB manufacturing shop and say, okay, I need 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 of these, you know, give me your best price, shop it around, and anyone can make those boards. The tough part is having the right testing equipment. Like, you know, Cal out at KR Sabers has, you know, an amazing testing setup where he can kind of test them in bulk as he goes to guarantee they're going to work before they go out the door. Some of the guys on eBay that are doing it right now, they're not really set up that way. So you're kind of rolling the dice if you say pay the 60-ish average dollars for, you know, a Profi 2.2. And a couple people were noticing there's little tiny components missing off of them every once in a while. So, you know, it's rolling the dice, I feel like, unless you get it from dependable suppliers like, you know, KR Sabers or Frederick himself. So that's been really cool. But no, I know you and I have talked about, you know, the scalping that happens with the crystal focus stuff going way back.
Yeah.
You know, it's horrible.
I don't know. That always just like made me mad. Like, I don't know why, but you know, like back when that crystal focus stuff was happening, it's like I really wanted a crystal focus. I really, really, really wanted a crystal focus. I never had one before, and that was going on. And my friend from FX Sabers, Dan, he's Revan. He's a Revan Reborn on FX Sabers, and he came over and he actually had some extra, and he gave me one. And that was my first crystal focus. And I think what I did with that was I sent it to Mad Cow, and he put it in my Quran horn that I had. And
nice.
that was sweet. It was like the Generation 1 Quran horn from Mad Cow from Genesis Custom Sabers. And it was a crystal focus 5.6. So it was, I thought that was like the sweetest of the sweetest cards.
It was.
At that time. It did so much. It still sounds great. I have a lightsaber with that. Not that same lightsaber, but I have another lightsaber with the 5.6. I really like the 5.6. That's a nice board.
Now, because the oldest one I have is a 4.3, and it's in the Yoda chassis that you saw in Brad's video. And what kind of tripped me out about that board that I hadn't seen on any of the others, because I haven't seen a lot of the older boards, was it had a potentiometer on the top of it where you could control the volume. Did any of the boards you have to do that?
That rings a bell.
It's really weird.
Yeah, that does ring a bell. I have some older crystal focuses too, like as a 3.
Okay.
I haven't worked with that one yet though.
Yeah, it's got like a little silver.
I'm thinking
solder.
like, did the Hyperblade boards have that? Because I remember that from something that I worked on.
Yeah,
Something had that.
The version of the crystal focus that I have in Michael Murphy's very first run of his removable Graflex chassis, I couldn't believe it. I was looking in there and I was like, there's this little silver potentiometer on the board, and you can take a tiny screwdriver and literally adjust the volume live.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
That's actually pretty cool.
It's
like,
pretty cool option.
You could be like Luke Skywalker, you know? Yeah, like you're like Luke, where you're like altering, or somebody like altering the saber in real time, like kind of changing it with this, with the tool.
Right. Yeah. I think it keeps cutting out a little bit still.
Oh, hey, anybody in the chat, is it cutting out for you guys, for both of us, or is it me? Is it
That's what I'd like to know. Is it
like
just for you and I, or
my buddy Steve is in the chat? ST Productions, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, Clinton says it's expensive enough to build a lightsaber without people scalping. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Turning wood style. I know that I need some parts to test with. Still waiting, but on the way. I like TCSS, very pro. Just ordered my Profi V2 at War Sabers. Yeah, I'm actually working on a War Sabers hilt right now for my friend Mark on Instagram. The War Sabers to me looks like they're this like the same size. They have the look and feel a little bit of and the size of a saber forge is what I think some of the emitters and things look like on that. Yeah, TCSS is for sure incredible. They keep the hobby going, I think. They keep the hobby going for sure. That's where I get everything I need for custom saber making. Especially like the hilt bodies. I love MHS V1. I really love it. Love it a lot.
It's a great place to start, and it's fun to kind of like drill them up and do crazy custom stuff to them and stuff like that. It's funny that the guy just talked about wood turning. Does he mean like on a lathe? He's like building kind of wood style hilts when he
maybe if that's not a typo about wood, maybe it's there's a saber from Kashyyyk that's wood, right? Or is that like a bone saber?
And so what's funny about that is last time Barbara and I went to Hawaii, I'm kicking myself because there was a guy kind of like one of these booths set up on the side of the road, and he had a tiki, like a piece of wood about that long, about that big around. It was a tiki carving, and I was like, I should buy that. That thing's pretty cool, because I had this idea where I could put a Neopixel blade in it and do the fire effect, and then carve the eyes out, and then the tiki guy would look like his eyes were on fire.
Oh yeah.
And so it was something about it. I was just like, you know what? They got to be all over the island. We're here for a little while. And so I was like, I'm going to shop around more on the rest of the island and get one. And never found another one. So I was like, why didn't I get that one? Because I always wanted to make a tiki lightsaber. I think that all wood chassis, because you can cut the little discs out in the laser cutter, and make it like the chassis wood and everything, using the metal hardware in between the discs. So one day I got to get another one.
Yeah, some people are saying that your audio is mostly fine, but the video sometimes freezes on your end.
Okay.
Master Jedi here. Sound is good. I know a little here to learn. Seems that the board I found on eBay after reading the info is a gaming, not a lightsaber board. Oh, gaming board. Yeah, TCSS all the way. He's hooked on TCSS. Wood hilts. Yeah, there you go. Wood hilts. Like, you have the heart of a Wookiee.
Exactly. Yeah, I have yet to do that. I have a wood lathe here that I started out with and was actually figured out a way to, you know, chuck in little tiny metal crystal chamber parts that I could just do little intricate lines, and sometimes I could shave them down on a wood lathe. It's not easy, not super accurate. But I've always wanted to make a wood hilt. I think that would be really cool.
I remember you telling me that you were doing stuff before you got your equipment. You were doing stuff on that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, trying to make a wood lathe work a while ago.
But I mean, the amazing stuff you were coming up with. Like, you have a video where you go through all the different crystal chambers that you made and stuff. Were any of those featured in that video where you made them on the wood lathe? Do you remember?
Probably. Yeah, because that was right about the time I got it and really started trying to make them a little more intricate. And um, but I think most of the crystal chambers in that video was about a year into me getting comfortable with the laser cutter, because that thing's a kind of a learning curve beast in and of itself. It takes some time. And I got one of the ones that was from China, where you have to go in and align the lasers and tweak it quite a bit to turn it into a full production machine. So when I pulled it out of the box and set it all up, it took about 6 months before, I was really happy with the way it was cutting. Right out of the box, I could barely get it to cut at all. And there's so much to do with aligning your mirrors and bouncing the laser correctly off the mirrors and making sure everything's clean. So the laser light isn't being distracted or refracted by any dust. And so that was a learning curve. But once I started wrapping my head around it and just watching tons of videos and reading lots of stuff, I got to a point where I was like, okay, I think I can start doing some really weird stuff now. So that's what I did.
And the laser cutter is what helped you make this Illumos?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's 100% laser cutter, except for obviously the metal hardware. A matter of fact, the piece you're showing right now is
one of your mistakes. Yeah, is kind of the one that you didn't like, right? It had air bubbles and
exactly. And I made it short and not the full length hilt because I was like, I'm going to try this 4,000 psi epoxy and see how it looks. And I just wasn't feeling it. It wasn't clear enough. You could see the separate layers because I had to do the epoxy. I'd mix it and then pour it in there in multiple layers. And, so you'd pour like 1 inch of a layer, let it cure, a 2nd inch of a layer, let it cure, and then a 3rd one. And so if you look at it, you can see the bubbles like right there on that line. And I wanted it to be, really clear. But I really like the idea you told me about a while ago. Well, how cool would it be if we made like a rubber mold and then we could pour, the clear resin into a rubber mold and make it like almost like a real looking abstract, kind of rough looking,
crystal,
Star Wars kyber crystal,
yeah.
Instead of, the geometric thing is cool and it was a lot of work. But yeah, eventually I'd like to get to a point where, it looks like something right out of the movie type of kyber crystal. That's the next project way down the road.
Yeah, so for anybody that's checking this out, I want you to go watch the full video of this lightsaber because it's amazing. This is like, for anybody like MCS Studios that's kind of first starting building your first saber, or however advanced you are. I mean, take a look at this for like what's possible. Just a crazy idea taken from an idea to actually working, and not only working, just working, but working at the epitome of like what a handheld lightsaber prop can do. Like, check out when he opens it up, when Jedi Master Maltese opens this up, you will see the interior core, which is fully independent, and here's the shell right here, right?
Yeah.
Where you even have some like a motor in there, and I think you have do you have two speakers in here?
Yeah, two 24mm bass speakers that fire in opposite directions.
And this saber is like super loud already, and then you had it hooked up to the car. So that's wild. And I also thought it was wild too how the part you see glowing in the video right now is actually the speaker end of the saber.
Yeah. Yep.
So the glowy bit right now is not the front of the saber, you guys. That's the this is a Neopixel build.
Yeah, this is before I was able to get a hold of Dimitri's, you know, the Neopixel emitter pin style that he makes, and so, you know, I just used the TCSS version, and then shortly after I built this one, I got some of his connectors and started using them in future builds, like one of the ones I'm doing for you. You know, that'll be in there, the new Dimitri stuff. It's pretty cool. But I made a pretty crazy blade plug for it, you know, that lights up and stuff. And it's got glow in the dark powder in it. So after it lights up and you're in the dark and you shut it off, there's blue glow in the dark powder in there that makes it look like the tip or the end of the lightsaber is cooling off from the heat.
Wow. That's something else. That's something else.
That's in the video as well.
Wow. Yeah, I can make a lightsaber smoke, but it's unintentional.
I wondered about that. Those old vintage trains where you used to drop the pills down into the smokestack.
It heats up just enough to kind of let a little wisp out when it goes by.
Yeah, all you have to do is put like a vape coil in there or something. That'd be crazy. Set the saber down and there's smoke pouring out the front of it.
Question for Jedi Arms Dealer is, are you preparing for May 4th build contest on Facebook? Fabrication co-op. I guess you're aware of what he means by that. There's some contests on Facebook.
Question for Dave. Is he participating in the May 4th build contest on Facebook Saber Fabrication co-op?
Fabrication. Yeah, I think I added an F there.
I'm going to have to go check that out. Solid Sabers. I know there's one contest going on right now, and I was like, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to make that kind of a deadline.
How about this deadline? Let me show you another one.
Because you knew that this one was for the Vader's Vault contest. And
no, I'm just hearing about this for the first time, but I know I'm in another contest on FX Sabers. I'll show you.
Cool.
I think this is one that you would really like. Are you a member of FX Sabers?
I am. I just get on Facebook all the time and you know, jump on a ton of the different groups most of the time. But you know, I've been on there.
This is the Flash Gun Challenge, which is on FX Sabers. Anybody that wants to enter this, you can join FX Sabers. It's free to join FX Sabers. And the Flash Gun Challenge is kind of like what it sounds like. It's based on a flash gun, which means that it could be like a Graflex, a Highland, any kind of flash gun that you could find, any kind of replica. It doesn't have to be a real one. I happen to have a real flash gun that's damaged, a Graflex that I'm going to cut up and kind of use parts of it, and you try to make something new. The idea of this contest, so there's 3 requirements. I'll read them to you guys. So to construct a working custom lightsaber with or without sound. So it just has to light up, right?
So it can be stunt.
Right. So number 2 is using a flash gun. So flash gun parts, flash gun replica, flash gun replica parts or like raw parts. So like what I plan to do is like take some bits off of a flash gun and then add like it's gonna be MHS underneath, but it's gonna have like flash gun bits like around it. Flash gun and all elements include but are not limited to real or vintage camera parts, flash gun based lightsaber kits and parts like Corbance, Parks, Hasbro, or raw parts fabricated to reassemble flash gun parts, Graflex, MPP, Highland, Graflite, Bosley, Proco, etc. So this deadline is October 1st. So I think that's a lot better. For people, you can, even with the lack of some parts available right now, you can still, you know, plan out a build, start it over the summer, kind of get it ready in August and September, and then, you know, submit it. Because one of the other things about this contest, like you're not allowed to kind of submit like pictures along the way and stuff like that. So it's just, you know, keep it to yourself, like. And then when the deadline approaches, you know, there'll be some kind of submission rule there, or some kind of submission way to do it. You know, what else can I say about it? The eligible hilt must not be solely an existing single hilt. So that's kind of obvious. I hope you guys get that it's not like you're not bringing like a Vader hilt and saying like, this is my entry because it's a Highland. No, you have to like take that Highland, even if it was a Vader, and kind of do something else to it, right? So not to give anyone ideas, but you know, you could take like two Vaders and stick them together and say like, you know, I drill, you know, I made it somehow new, and it's also a staff and whatever else. You know, you could use your imagination. The hilt must be executed to the highest extent possible, adhering to the spirit of these guidelines. So it's pretty simple rules for the contest, you know, and that's a pretty fun one. That's on FX Sabers. If you go to LED Saber section, the flash gun challenge, that's how you find this this thread. Started by Eastern 57. He's awesome dude. He's actually sent me MHS part before when there's been like a shortage like that. I needed a part real bad. He had an extra part.
Nice. Well, what's funny about you bringing up like the flash gun thing, I just got one in the mail from eBay, and I wanted to ask you if you ever heard or seen this thing before. It's really cool. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. It's right here.
Sword of the Jedi asks, have you worked with an Ultim? Maybe that's a question for you, Master Jedi. I don't know what an Ultim is. Unless we're talking about an ultimatum. I've given a few of those.
Ultim. Have you worked with an Ultim? I don't know what that is. Anyways, I don't know if you can zoom in on this thing.
Red Raven, if you go to Jedi Arms Dealer, that's what Jedi Arms Dealer's name on YouTube is, Jedi Arms Dealer. And we were showing the chassis before. MCS Studio says that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, that's like super amazing. And wait till I show you, if you haven't seen it yet, wait till I show you the super small Sidious chassis that Dimitri Stock and Jedi Arms Dealer came up with. He's got a video on that too. Is that video like public? That Sidious video? I think it is, right?
Yeah. I've done two Sidiouses now. One was my chassis design that was like using the acrylic cutter and metal. That one's from almost a year now. And then Dimitri wanted me to prototype his chassis. So let's see which one you pull up. Yeah, this is the newer one. That's the 3D modeling of Dimitri Stock of Stock Custom Works. That thing's insane, Anthony. You gotta
this is wild, you guys. This is like, look at the size of this thing here. It fits inside a Sidious. If you guys don't know how small Sidious is, it's in the background of this shot right here. It is like the size of a fist, or like it's like a size of a roll of quarters, basically, right? I'm a little bigger.
Yeah, it's small.
And
it's very small.
this chassis right here is like the size of a roll of quarters, you know, maybe. And it's fully Neopixel chassis. Look how beautiful this is. Lots of room needs to be taken up with this battery, but look at all the detail in those crystal chamber spots, the upper part with the emitter, and then the opposite side here. Let's get around the other side. Yeah. And this is all metal, right? This is wild.
Yeah, now it's got like a 3D printed plastic core to protect the electronics from the metal outside, but the outside you can order in all kinds of different metals. I think you can even do rhodium with it, but that's the brass, and then I polished it on my polisher. But yeah, Dimitri rocked that thing. I mean, the detail on it's unreal, you know, for something that's 3D printed, and he definitely knocked it out of the park on that one.
So this comes from Shapeways? You order these bits from Shapeways and construct this yourself?
That's correct. Yeah, and the wait times can be, you know, anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks to get the parts in.
And when it comes in metal, I mean, did you get a prototype one, or did you order it like a customer would order it?
Dimitri hadn't made the files live yet when he contacted me, and so, like, you know, he gave me access to the files, and it was in prototype mode. And I think, you know, correct me, Dimitri, if I'm wrong, but I don't think right now Dimitri has an 89 Sabers hilt, because they were really, really hard to come by.
Oh.
So he needed someone to, like, he had all the dimensions and everything in a 3D modeling program, but he needed someone in the final stages of prototyping to make sure that the prints, and plus, you know, I'm here in California, so the Shapeways parts get to me quicker instead of to Russia.
Oh, okay.
And so he wanted me to prototype the very final steps of it. And really, it wasn't that many changes. We're talking, like, you know, millimeters, half millimeters of little holes and things that line up for the wires and the switches to be kind of moved here and there when it was all said and done and put together. But yeah, I don't know if he's working in AutoCAD or which 3D modeling program, but man, it's so
I think he shows sometimes on Instagram, if you guys follow Stock Custom Works, or I think he might have a couple Instagram channels, and sometimes he actually shows him working in whichever program it is. He said the other day that he got a new program, he's getting used to it, he learned it, and look at what it can do, type of thing. I don't remember which program it was, but you know, he's kind of open about it on Instagram, if you guys check that out. Probably Facebook too, I would assume. I just don't look there too often. Yeah, because my question about that was, like, well, I guess one of the questions I have is, this is only for an 89 Sabers Sidious? Because I know there's a couple different Sidious Sabers that look like this, right?
That's correct. It's only for the Gen 1. And so, as far as I understand, the 89 Sabers Sidious, I think he did 2 runs of them at just kind of separate times, but I believe that dimensionally they're both considered the Gen 1. So he just recently released a Gen 2, and no one's confirmed whether or not this chassis will fit in it or not. Dimitri will probably know.
Oh, we got Gary in the chat. Bespin Custom Props, Bombarta. Welcome. What's going on, buddy? He's been a guest on Saber Talk before. We had a little less technical know-how early on, doing that early last year, I think. And I had Gary, like, on the TV in the back, so we'll have to get Gary back and get him on the show where people can hear him better and see him better. Jeremy Jackson, what's going up? He said what's going on? He says, "You're a mad genius." Yeah, he's a mad genius for sure. I got a couple
What's up,
genius
I see
friends
him all the time on Facebook.
Flash gun build off. Gary's actually the one who alerted me to that flash gun contest on FX Sabers. He goes, "Look, you know, this is something that all of us would like." So thanks for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. I got some parts, and I got a little bin.
Be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
using the vintage stuff. Now, they did say you could do replicas.
Yeah, because, you know, the idea of the contest too is that, like, beginners can enter, people that, you know, don't want to spend a whole lot of money on it. So, you know, don't, you know, if you don't, you know, you don't need to buy the $200 or $300 hilt. Just go on eBay, see what's broken, see what's available that, you know, you can get for like less than $50 if you don't have something already. That would be my suggestion. You know, get a shell, like an upper or a lower. Like if I didn't have something already, I wouldn't even be looking for the whole thing. I might even be, you know, okay with some dented parts and stuff, because I just want to cut it up anyway, or maybe use the dent in the design. Like say this is a, you know, or it's scratched up. You know, this is like a used thing from ancient times, or whatever the idea that you have going is. I think it's a really cool idea.
It's a great idea. I love that a lot. Matter of fact, I just pulled out the one I got off of eBay last week, and I want to see if you'd ever seen one of these, Space. Can you zoom me in here?
Yeah.
This is a, I don't even know what the heck it's called. It's like a, and maybe someone that's tuned in will know. It's called a Mornay Bud, New York. Definitely hardcore vintage, but I was just impressed with, I mean, it's got a clamp for some type of
look
strip,
at that.
Right here. And then the greeblies on the front. I was like, this
wow,
thing is pretty,
that's cool.
pretty nuts.
I actually love that. Like those sideways things look very, very droid-like, look very Star Wars. And the mock like bunny ear or switch.
What is this?
Is that a switch? Or no, that's like an Ahsoka style, like an, oh yeah, it's like an Ahsoka style bunny ear thing or something. That's wild.
It's definitely wild. I'd never seen one before.
I love it. I really love it.
It was.
I would not cut that though. I would not cut that.
I know, right? That's the hard part. I think it's a bulb release. I'm not sure, but like these all unscrew, and there's like a cable that joins this one to this. It's really weird. I've never seen one, and it's got some crazy looking logo that's.
Or like, I wonder if you kept
it or whatever, stamped.
Like if you kept it relatively exact, but you did, you like worked your magic inside. That would be something. That might be.
Let me see if I can show the other
contest entry right there.
Right here.
Hold on, I think your video's frozen, so hold on 1 second.
Yeah. So I'd never seen one of these before.
Yeah, Pegleg Pete says, yeah, I think your video's down for the time being, but it'll come back in a second, I'm thinking. Pegleg Pete says, if I built, I'd research the whole history of flash guns, which most people won't do, to see what may be interesting about them. Yeah, like that's what I would definitely suggest that you could, you know, maybe come up with an angle that no one else knows that really relates to Graflex, really relates to flash guns.
Right.
Let me see if I could get you back by switching the layout here for a second. Come back. There you go. Okay, now you're back. Video, I believe. You could show what you were going to show.
You want me to throw this thing back up again?
Yeah, because we didn't see what you were pointing at towards the lower part. Yeah, you were talking about something in the lower part.
Was I talking about these guys?
I think right after that. But I love what...
I talked to you about the cable. Like if I unscrew these and unscrew this one, there's like a cable that goes between the two of them and you can't take them off. I'm not sure what that's. I don't even know how this thing works yet.
I like the little button. Yeah, that little box is cool.
And then you get to the other end.
And the bottom half looks longer than a standard Graflex.
Yeah, I think because the clamp is further forward on this one, but I'm pretty sure it's a 3-cell.
That is really cool. Tell me about the clamp part. Does the card holder look wider than a normal card holder?
No, it looks like a straight up bubble strip would go right in there. What throws it off is that this is shorter here. So you'd have to trim your bubble strip so it would fit lengthwise. Height-wise, it's perfect. So, but yeah, I mean, it's, you know, got crazy clamp system. I just never seen one like this before. I thought it was definitely very lightsaber-esque, right?
Melissa's World is here. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Legally Blind Star Wars nerd here. Well, for the time being, at least, it doesn't much matter because he's frozen up. The video's frozen up, so you can't see anything right now anyway. not to make light. I'm getting a saber soon too. Whoa, neat saber. Love Star Wars and now sabers. That's cool. Yeah, it's almost like I always talked about it like it's like baseball, where it's like imagine telling people that yeah, you know, you like baseball, but what you really like are the baseball bats. You know,
That's a great analogy. That's so true.
Because it's kind of weird to like, oh yeah, all I care about is like sit, you know, well, I care about the whole thing. Obviously, I care about the whole thing a great deal.
Yeah.
But it's like we zoomed in on this one thing inside, which is kind of strange, right? Because there's so much going on. There's droids, there's spaceships, there's
Right.
probably clubs that talk about the A wing and the X wing and the B wing, and we're here talking about lightsabers because within the Star Wars universe, which is huge, we love lightsabers. We take it down to the detail, as Jedi Arms Dealer does in all these builds. That's why.
And SpaceWIndu.
Well, that's why I come to Jedi Arms Dealer for the most intricate work that is needed in some of these custom sabers. Like when you guys see what he did with this.
Losing our audio again.
Sidious right here. Oh wow. Oh yeah. So you made like a custom. Oh no, this is the stock Custom Works emitter piece that you do not need a blade plug for because it actually has little LEDs in there. That's how you're able to get the light out of this Sidious. But you know, check out how small this Sidious hilt is, and all that metal chassis fits in there. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites in my collection right now, just because it's just so damn classy.
Yeah. And I bet you being brass, it's got some weight to it right on the inside, but it's heavily like wieldable because of the size. It's so small. It probably feels really good with a, what is a 7/8 blade, I'm thinking?
It feels perfectly balanced with the 7/8 inch blade, like you were showing me, you know, the 35/35s, which ones to use.
Yeah.
And I had never built one before, but I needed to for this saber, and I was just blown away. Like it's probably my favorite saber now to swing around and stuff. It's just
wow.
You know, you can't let go of it because it's chrome and it's slippery.
Yeah, you do not want to scratch on that. And look at the different tones of I guess it's powder coating or anodizing or whatever that it'd be impossible to fix if it got scratched up.
Hey Space, are you losing the audio on your side as well sometimes?
I don't think so. I think as far as I could tell, it might be your side.
Okay.
That you go out every for just a couple seconds and then come back.
Okay. I wonder.
And I think you also lose the hearing, right? Because then you can't hear me when that's happening to you.
Correct. Yeah.
If you want to go out and come back, that's fine too. You know, if you want to try that.
Let me see. Oh, you mean like as in I kind of exit out of the app and then come back in?
Yeah. Like you can, if you want to try restarting or something, but I don't think it's that big a deal, you know, if you want to.
No, I'm only losing you for like 5 seconds at a time and stuff. So
yeah. And it's like what I tell my friend Kevin about his pain. When he's having pain, I tell him, Kevin, it's just your pain. No one else is feeling it. So you understand? I'm joking. You probably can't hear me. A staff type saver with shorty. Oh yeah. You know what? I had a plan. I had a plan to build. Well, like I actually built the blades back when I was doing the string blades. I built 2 arc blades. I call them arc blades because the light ran up and then back down. Like that's how I did the string. So it was like 1, 2, 3 segments and then 4, 5, 6 segments. And so it would go like up and around. So I still had double strip. I had like a double strip in essence because it wrapped around, but the light went up and back. And I made about 30 inches, maybe 29 inches. I made 2 of those. And I had the plan that they're going to go into this staff. Here, I'll show you.
It was your arc blade, right?
Yeah. And the idea was that like this they were going to go into this, which, okay, so I think this was it harp early on.
If you can hear me, I'm going to try opening the bedroom door and see if I can get better audio. Hold on.
Oh, okay. So I'm thinking, was it harp that built this for me? But it was about 8 years ago. So if it was harp, it was so long. It was he probably doesn't remember. But this is an RGB crystal chamber, and it has an LED crystal. It has a crystal lit by 2 LEDs, I believe, and
Nice.
I have the wires that actually make it RGB. Back in the days of, this was probably made around back in the days of like Crystal Focus 6. So we had planned to maybe put a Crystal Focus 6 in here at first, and then I decided, you know what, I'm going to light the crystal chamber differently, my own way, and I'm going to make this the powering the arc blades, and this is going to be like my temple guardian. And I had 2 shrouds, like one for each side. It's going to be a very complicated build with all these like vents in it and all these like lights, and it's going to look like the Graflex, right? So there's like Graflex style emitters on both sides. There's going to be those glass eye, and kind of do this up like a Graflex. If you saw the shroud work that I had going, it kind of looks like it might be like for the Temple Guardian, you know. And the blades were going to be that they were obviously removable, and you could change it to yellow blades if you really wanted to be like Temple Guardian accurate. But I thought it would be cool to do the arc blades inside this. So, but this was probably, when did the 6.5 when did the 6.5 out? That's how many years ago. I had to abandon this project, well, for the time being, because this was like a personal project, and then people started asking me, you know, please do my saber, do my saber. So some of these personal things kind of, you know, got put off to the side. But those were going to be the shorty style blade. I also had an EXAR KUN build in progress, maybe a little farther along than this one, and it's a shorter. Like EXAR KUN had a double-sided lightsaber, but it was shorter. And that's what I started making, and I got kind of far. I had all these pieces. It probably has 40 like hand-cut pieces and shaped, and I was in the middle of shaping all those pieces when, again, I moved on to other projects. I put it in a plastic bin. I got it in a cabinet over here. And it's like, I was just talking about that with Harris the other day too. I'd made 2, you know, and it's no small thing to make the string blade. It takes like an entire weekend to make one string blade. So I had built the string blade for the one side of the EXAR KUN. I built the string blade for the other side of the EXAR KUN. In the progress of making the EXAR KUN, Neopixel came out, explosion. People just want Neopixel, and I'm still holding on to my CFLS projects, and like me and you just did one together over the past couple of years for our friend Brad. We had a great time. We should talk a little bit about that if we can come back to that subject. But yeah, you know, so some people still like CFLS. You do. You have one here that I'm going to remove from Mike Saber. Send you that because he's willing to upgrade to Neopixel, but you're willing to try out CFLS. I have 2 CFLSs that I'm putting into the EXAR KUN still, I think. Brad's got his CFLS.
I want to see that.
You know, it's cool because they don't have smooth swing, right? But they have a certain different type of power. They have a certain different type of power. It's like a true Jedi to only be able to have one color blade, right?
Exactly.
So that's kind of how it works with the string blade. You build what you build, and it takes, like I said, it takes probably 2 days to build the blade, and you're stuck with that color. It's not RGB. It's not going to change. You're not going to decide you're evil the next day, stuff like that. So.
Well, one of the things you told me recently that I did not know is with the 6 segmented string blades that you're so awesome at making. I had no idea that those are still turning out to be the brightest blades on the lumen meter.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
that shocked me because I really, when I look at a Neopixel blade, I'm like, holy crap, that's insanely bright. So I would like to see one of the ones you've built in person one day,
I'll
because
send you one when I send you the board. Which is, you know, I always say it's gonna come out this week. It's gonna come out this weekend. But you know, now that everyone's home and stuff like that, I've actually been working on Sabers a little more. Harris has been coming over a little more. Been getting some progress done a little more. One of the cool ideas for a video that my friend Mark gave me, the guy who I told you I'm making the War Sabers hilt for, that's actually a Profi. I might need your help on. I either need your help or Megtooth Sith, because he wants some specialized programming, and I need a little guidance on that. I'm sure I could call you or something like that. You can like walk me through something, or it's not as simple as that either. But
which War Sabers hilt is it?
Let me see if it's within reach. Is it within reach? One sec.
All right, I lost you for that 5 seconds. Oh, there it is. Oh, nice.
So this has a different wrap on it than it came with, but you see what I mean? That it kind of looks like the Saber Forge size and design almost.
Yeah. Right. In the
it
center.
Feels good. Yeah, like it's very wieldable. It's like more like MHS V2 size to it. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I looked at their website. They have, you know, different styles, I guess, different versions, and this is one that I don't know when it came to me that Mark had done anything to it yet, but it had a leather wrap that we removed, put on this new leather wrap. Gonna put the Profi in it. That one is Neopixel, and enhanced blue blade that I already made for that, but I have some wiring to finish on the end of that one there. But yeah, he had a good idea, my friend Mark, to do like a video too, where I'm at, maybe like once a month, like where I'm at with the builds. I think that's a pretty good idea, and also I'm in a kind of a good place to kind of do that. So I want to get to that at some point. I think that's cool.
So real quick, Space, if I exit out of this and get back in, do you think it'll clear up this 5 second delay I'm getting every once in a while?
Possibly, you know.
Try that.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe like restart your iPad if that's what you're on. If it continues to happen, it's probably like a connection thing on your side, you know.
Yeah, well, I know there's a lot of internet traffic out there right now with everyone, you know, looking at everything, the news. So, because it's affected other things here in the house that normally, because we just checked the Mbps
speed
yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's still reading, you know, at the max. But let me go ahead and try that, because I'm losing you for 5-10 seconds at a time. And so I guess what it's done, you'll just copy and paste the live segments together. Is that how that works?
No, I won't be able to do that. But what I'll do is
I'll just
you'll disappear.
So you're gonna keep going, and then I just rejoin the conversation.
Right. I'll like keep an eye out for you reappearing. You'll use that same link to get back in here.
Okay. I'm gonna do that now and like close out everything, restart, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Show you guys this really awesome build. Jedi Arms Dealer, you know, that hilt I showed you guys before, which was the Illumos, that fully crystal looking lightsaber that lights up, spins around, stuff like that. You know, that wasn't Jedi Arms Dealer's first rodeo. He's done some clear lightsabers before, and when I told him that, you know, I think that the Graflex or the Flash Gun Challenge would be perfect for him, is because, take a look at this. This is what he calls the glass flex. Like, I've talked about this before on my channel. If you've seen the video for Brad's lightsaber, which is the special Graflex that I just worked with Jedi Arms Dealer to complete over the past 2 years, this came out before that. This is the glass flex. This is one of the reasons why Brad chose Jedi Arms Dealer to work on his Graflex, is because he saw builds like this. I mean, take a look at this. Is this the craziest thing that you guys have ever seen. This is a Graflex, right? And I know it's hard to kind of understand what you're looking at if you don't know Graflex, if you don't know lightsabers that well, but like this is got the shape of a Graflex, so the Luke or Rey or Anakin style hilt. Look at the rotating crystal chamber, isn't that wild? But look, it's got the shape of every bit of the Graflex. It's got the clamp card. It's got the clamp itself. He even has the lever. He has the grips, the screws, or what appear to be like screws. They all house the innards. It's just crazy because this is a clear Graflex. So normally a Graflex is stainless steel. This one's clear. One of the cool things that I thought Jedi Arms Dealer said earlier was about the Bluetooth and how it comes out of a clear or of an acrylic saber really, really well. Like the signal transmits really well. So that's just a good tip. I think anybody that wants to make a Bluetooth lightsaber, a lightsaber capable of Bluetooth, you're really, really strangled by the fact that the hilt is metal in a lot of cases. But what you can do is maybe a little panel. I always thought that it had to be maybe a panel with like a screen in it, that the Bluetooth module was behind there, or the antenna. But maybe if you had an open area of your hilt with a clear insert, an acrylic insert, you could have the acrylic light up. You can have the acrylic have your bar graph behind it, but also put your Bluetooth equipment behind that window. And maybe that increases, Jedi Arms Dealer said he was getting 30 feet out of a clear acrylic lightsaber. Maybe you get something like 10 feet, something reasonable if you put an acrylic window. Golden Harvest soundboard, Melissa's World, getting a Golden Harvest soundboard, Neopixel and Smooth Swing. That should be pretty awesome. The Neopixel, I mean, the Smooth Swing is just something else to play with. It really, really is. It really feels like you got the real thing in your hand. And if you got the Neopixel, as well, it's pretty intense. Oh, you see this? Melissa was, she had a struggle for balance, but she is leaning towards the light now. Let's see if Jedi Arms Dealer is back and see if we have any audio issues. He's really the only one experiencing the audio issues, so let's see if they're cleared up right now.
So far, so not glitchy.
Oh, okay, good. The
So
Jedi taught me the dangers of the dark side. Yeah, I think it's okay to be dark side, especially in the saber world. Everyone's got to have their own thing, and sometimes you might have a light side saber and a dark side saber. Sometimes you might just have a dark side saber. I know my friend Jeff, who I worked on a Darth Vader lightsaber for him. I recently finished a Darth Nihilus, whatever, from the Old Republic. He seems to always have dark side sabers. He dresses up as Darth Vader. He dresses up as Darth Nihilus. So to each his own. I feel like I'm kind of like an evil Jedi. Like I want to be the type of Jedi that drops in to the Sith like battleship like as a Jedi assassin and goes around and kind of does the work that no one wants to do. How did the 3-strip blade come out? Was it worth it or not really? I should have brought it down. I had it on a couple small videos, Steve. One of them I put through the light meter. That might be the one you saw, Jedi Arms Dealer. I'm not sure, but it got a big number on the Lux meter. It got almost 8,000. So yeah, to my eye, it looks brighter, and on video you can tell that like the plume is bigger, but you could also tell in real life that there's less diffusion. You could plainly kind of see that it's not as like Steve's blade is purely like an energy beam. You can't see anything going on in there besides light. But the tri-strip, I feel like you can make out, especially on certain colors, it looks like a beam, and then other colors you keep changing a lightsaber, changing, and you start to see like, oh, I can kind of make out that. I don't know if your eyes are adjusting because Harris is sitting there going, you know, you guys, I can't look at that anymore. You know, like that's how bright. So I don't know if your eyes are starting to adjust and like, oh, I could see the LED, you know, LEDs, and it's just like, then you're like blinding yourself. So it's kind of hard to say that when your eyes start to adjust, like, oh, I could almost make out the LEDs, and you change the color, then like, oh, it looks smooth again. But then you start to realize I shouldn't be looking at this so closely. You know, it's like that bright.
Right.
Yeah, Jim must have seen it on Saber Talk the other night or something, because he's saying it's insane. Yeah, it's insane. Am I working on a 4-strip blade? Oh no, he says Space and I are working on a 4-strip blade. Yes, Steve brought over a tube, which is more like a and you know what I should send you some of this stuff, Jedi Master, because it's it might you know, your mind might come out with a use for it, or you might have access to something like that already. But it's like an acrylic tube made into like a little square, and it's a long acrylic tube that I'm going to. And Steve, I had an idea. I'll tell you right now. I had a, you know, Steve's idea was we were going to put the skinny strips on each side of the square strip, which is a long acrylic rod, but it's square. Yeah. Put the strips on every side, and then encase it in the. Do you know about like the 29.5 millimeter Makoto blades? So like if you order a Makoto blade, a Makoto lightsaber off eBay or from Makoto, you will oftentimes get it, unless you specify 1 inch, which he charges extra for, you will get a 29.5 diameter Makoto blade. So I don't know if you guys know that, but that's how Makoto comes, right? It's thicker.
Yeah.
A 1 inch is about 25 millimeters. Okay, so for anybody that sees the difference there between a 25 and 29.5, it's a rounder, it's a bigger tube, bigger diameter. And there's foam that Makoto has for those type of blades, which has a bigger opening because he needs to shove in, you know, these 5 millimeter LEDs or like whatever he's got in his blades, and he's got this thicker tube, thicker foam, bigger foam. So what Steve and I were thinking of doing was putting these Neopixel strips, the skinny strips, all around, quad blade through that thicker Makoto blade, and Steve is developing a lightsaber hilt that's going to be like able to wield that. So it's going to be like a bigger hilt. So my idea is, instead of, I was looking at the tube the other day, and my idea is, instead of putting the skinny strips all around the square, it looked like there was enough room that, Steve, if we could insert 2 of them inside, so like top and bottom would be inside the plastic acrylic, and the left and right would be on the outside. So I don't know if that makes sense the way I say it, but I'll show you in person. You know, we'll talk about it when we have the thing in hand. Did we lose you for a couple seconds, Master Jedi? Your screen went dark for a while. I don't know if Jedi Arms Dealer might be frozen.
Okay, there you are.
There you are.
Back.
Okay, I think you were frozen, or you disappeared for a moment.
Yeah, I wasn't hearing anything. Everything was frozen on this end. Maybe we should do like a hand signal or something. I'll be like.
We'll see. When your audio goes out, I think for you, your video also goes out, because I noticed that because you're frozen as well. Like your screen is freezing up a little bit when that happens.
Yeah. Huh.
Oh, Scott Devlin says he's in need of ideas.
What kind of ideas?
What kind of ideas? Maybe for a graphics contest, or for... Yeah. Oh yeah, Jim Smith said that's Sabia, because I know Harp's stuff looks very intricate right now, but early on he made these crystal chambers for sale on FX Sabers, which I was really liking early on, and bought one from him for that double saber, that double staff Jedi Temple Guardian is what I was gonna have it be like. Oh, okay. So Melissa's World says, if we could just describe the hilt, her left eye is blind and her right eye is tunnel low vision. She's also nearsighted and wears super strong glasses that don't always help. My right eye tends to strain 24/7. Now that stings because that probably gives you headaches and stuff like that. I know what a migraine feels like, but yeah, if you know what the Graflex looks like, the lightsaber that I got playing on the screen here is Jedi Master, Jedi Arms Dealer's version of a Graflex that is made out of entirely of acrylic, at least the exterior part is. And it looks like a Graflex, but the rubber strips that are like wiper blades that are the grips are acrylic. The entire body is acrylic. Even the curve of the top of the Graflex is acrylic. And the bunny ears and even the Graflex clamp, and that must have been a pain in the ass to do that clamp lever or to have that attached or however that worked. But we're also looking at the inside of the saber, which once he slides off the shell and you come to the inside, I mean, this thing looks like a piece of the Terminator. This looks like a piece of like the T-800 or the Model 101, doesn't it? It looks like part of his arm or something. You know, you have these stacked discs. You even have some mirror glass in there. This thing's just crazy. And this one was, I was explaining when you were out of the room, Jedi Arms Dealer was trying to fix his connection, and I was explaining to everybody about how the Illumos wasn't your first clear lightsaber. You had done this previous to that, and this has all the bells and whistles too, right? Like the rolling crystal chamber. I actually like the interior colors of this a lot because it's like got a lot of that silver that looks like Terminator stainless steel to me or something.
Yeah, I just wanted it to be clean, you know, to where it matched like something that you would just see that it's clear with a bunch of silver on the inside. Even the Kyber crystal is clear. But one thing I forgot to say on that video is it's a 1-to-1 ratio to an actual vintage Graflex. If you stand them up on the table side by side, the dimensions are identical in every way.
That's incredible.
I took measurements with the calipers and then set that up in the laser cutting program. And but the hardest part to do to get right on this build was the Graflex clamp, because what I had to do,
I knew it had to be the worst.
That was crazy. And what I had to do is take, you know, a rectangular piece of acrylic, laser etched, you know, the lines and then the Graflex logo and then the lines again at the bottom. And then Barbara and I did like 20 prototypes where we were literally using the oven to make that flat rectangle heat up and bend around like a metal tube, and then we'd have to pull it out and shape it perfectly before it cooled off.
Ooh. Oh
and so we had like 20 prototypes all lined up, you know, on the windowsill until we were like, okay, we figured it out. That's the perfect one, because it's how long you leave it in, the temperature, and so that was the final piece to make that work.
We got Justin Evans here. I have Jeff Chong in the chat. What's going on, Jeff? Jeff is a customer of both Jedi Arms Dealer and myself. We're both working on hilts for Jeff.
Yeah, that one's okay. I think I'm back on the audio now. You talking about Jeff Chong?
Yeah, he's actually in the chat. He made a comment. He says he's looking forward to see the world's first wood chassis from Jedi Master Maltese.
the Hawaii Tiki Saber?
Yeah,
me too. That'll be cool one day. What's up, Jeff?
And then we're gonna actually like light it on fire.
People.
We're gonna light it on fire at the end somehow without damaging anything. I don't know. Yeah, like, do you know what's crazy about this? You were just explaining how you made the dimensions for the exterior dimensions of the acrylic part of the Graflex shell here. So the clear shell that's made out of acrylic that looks like a Graflex is the same dimensions as a Graflex. But the amazing thing, I think, it's got to be thicker than the stainless steel Graflex shell, right? So you
The
actually
walls.
had less room inside to do what you did here, right? So this had to be like slenderer than you really would have done in like in Brad's, right? Because your walls are thicker when you're saying the exterior dimensions are the same, right?
All right, I think you're back.
Yeah, I think like when you popped out,
moving.
I was talking about the exterior dimensions of the Graflex being the same as the Graflex, but your interior parts here have to be. Oh, I think our Jedi. See, I'm the one off planet, and Jedi Master Maltese is on planet, and he's having issues. He is having issues on planet. Maybe it's my signal. My signal's not reaching Earth. Oh, hold on to one CFLS as a history museum piece. You know, I should have brought downstairs too. I have this little gift from Jedi Arms Dealer that is a CFLS replica made out of acrylic. So it's even green like the little CFLS board, and it's just precisely the right size of a CFLS board that Jedi Master Maltese was using for fitment for Brad's epic Graflex build that we did last year. So this is just wild. I think even though this predates the Illumos, I don't know. This might be my favorite. This might be my favorite thing, just because of the way it looks inside. It looks like this is from heaven. It looks like this is it looks like this thing is like do you remember the sword from you know, it wasn't intricate at all, but I loved how silver it was. The sword from the newer version of what's the name of the movie? It's about the Greek gods and the demigods, and Perseus got the sword, and it's like silver, and when he grabs it, it comes out, right? What the hell is that movie? Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, okay. That's what I was thinking, but I couldn't think of the name of it. Yep.
Yeah, so like I just love the silver. The silver just looks epic. Like it's a godly. And look at these. Everybody, take a look at, you know, go watch this video. Go subscribe to Jedi Arms Dealer. This is like, if you're into sabers, this is eye candy for lightsabers. This is what we call saber porn, when you can actually see through. Like Superman, you could use your X-ray vision to see through all these lightsabers that Jedi Arms Dealer made over here. This is wild. I don't want to reveal his entire video. Let me go towards the end here, and you guys can see. Oh, I see. Oh, you even I don't remember this. Yeah. What a dickhead. He has like a clear. So you wanted the entire thing to be clear.
Yeah. So there's no diffusion in there.
You took it. Talk about taking the idea all the way. Yeah. Now, can you guys tell that the crystal chamber is rotating here? This is so wild. Oh my God, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Chris. That was a fun one. Definitely a challenge, but a fun one.
Yeah, maybe MCS Studios might be having the same problem that I have right now, where I look for those strips and they're out of stock. But I think that they... I'm thinking, you know, April, some products that I'm looking for on eBay through some Chinese sellers are actually saying like, oh, April 4th, we're coming back to work, or April 7th, or, you know, there's like a date that things I think are going to start becoming available again. So we'll have to keep an eye out. You know, even the US suppliers that I'm ordering the Neopixel strip from, they get it from overseas. So, you know, look at these effects on this lightsaber's just buck wild. You guys got to go check out this video. It's called Glassflex, world's first clear plexiglass Neopixel lightsaber Graflex replica rotating crystal chamber. Say that a bunch of times. Has anyone tried implementing capacitive touch controls into a lightsaber hilt? You know, it was a couple years ago. I saw those available. Those little touch plates and stuff became very cheap a few years ago and started becoming available on eBay and stuff. Have you used that or seen that?
I played with it with the Arduino version of it, and I could get the Saber to turn on, but I could not get it to turn back off, and I never figured out why that was yet. Something to do with the capacitive touchpad. But I know that, oh gosh, I don't want to say their name unless it's like Saber Trio or one of those guys where they're doing the. Have you seen it where you slide your thumb?
Oh yeah.
Up the circuit card and the
I
clamp.
saw that. Yeah.
You have to do a certain sequence with your thumb, and then it lights it up. That's all capacitive touch now.
Okay. Okay.
I can't remember the name of the company, but I want to say it's something like Saber Trio.
It could be them, or there was like an Italian company I think that was doing it. I don't know if I'm crossing companies here, but
yeah, I got to see one at Comic-Con. It was super cool. Like just the whole capacitive touch slide your thumb up the clamp card. It's pretty wild.
Jake Soft is here. He says, you know,
What's
you
up,
can totally.
Soft?
What's up, Jake Soft? You can totally hack string blade support into Arduino-based soundboard. Absolutely. There's actually instructions inside the Profi manual. I'm doing a Profi string blade right now as well with 8 segments. So it's going to have to be a custom string blade. You know, I want to test. I'm going to do the test with my 6 segments, but I think I might actually end up doing it 8 segments. I have to see.
For the Flash on Clash?
No, just like for the ramp up, and then still have a flash string. But I actually think I'm limited by my plugs, so I think I'm going to have to maybe keep it 6 segments. So, but you know, you could pick. You can do kind of whatever you want to program into. I know I'm going to need some programming help when that comes around. Figure that out. Hopefully, you know, hopefully there's something out there ready. I can just kind of copy paste. Yeah. So Jim Smith, we were talking about these string blades before. How they just end up being brighter. I mean, I think dedicated color is going to be brighter than anything RGB. Like we're talking about small little diodes here that have to produce each small little chip is 3 colors or 4 if we're talking about RGBW. Whereas if we're talking about 3mm and 5mm, it's emitted. It's emitted through different types of lenses too, and you can actually alter those lenses when you get them. Whereas like the Neopixel, the reason why JEDI Arms Dealer and myself were surprised about the brightness of the Neopixel not being able to surpass string blade is part of the reason I think is because the Neopixel LEDs, as you could see in this video playing by JEDI Arms Dealer here, the Neopixels are facing straight out toward you. So it's a little bit perplexing that the numbers aren't higher than they are. I mean, they're high, believe me. Talk about Makoto blades that were bright as the eye could see a few years ago. These Neopixels are beating out those numbers. So we are talking about very, very bright blades. But for the single dedicated 5mm blades made out of single LEDs wired together by hand is just going to be brighter because you have a dedicated LED, super bright LED. You know, if you choose the right LED, you know, it takes time to, you know, just like JEDI Arms Dealer took time to get the sound to come out of his vehicle with the Bluetooth module, and it took a year or 2 to get the right formula going for that programming and the parts. It takes time to select the best LEDs, do some tests, get the best and brightest LEDs, then construct the string blade. You're stuck to the single color, but you're going to be brighter in most cases. You know, I've built it though. I built it where I took 2 days to build it, and it sucked. You know, that's happened before too. But sometimes you get tricked. You know, you think the LEDs are going to be really, really fantastic. You might be trying a new set of LEDs. You go to build the entire blade, and you realize that maybe the bin. You know how sometimes there is like a different bin of LED color. Like I built a yellow blade one time. Oftentimes back in the day when somebody would order a blade from me, I didn't get many orders for the string blades. Are very expensive, very rare. Nobody really had the string blade capable boards anyway. Sometimes when somebody had that CFLS, they wanted me to build a blade. I would order enough LEDs to make 2 blades. Sometimes I'd be experimenting. It's like, I know these LEDs are good, but let me try another one. So I'd build 2 blades side by side and give them the best one, you know, whichever one came out better. Sometimes I'd be surprised of the new LEDs that I was trying out came out better. In the case of those amber LEDs, I bought LEDs that I knew were tried and true, and then I bought a pack of LEDs that I was experimenting with. The ones I was experimenting with, I thought were going to be excellent, and then when it came out, I noticed that the yellow was like inconsistent up the blade. It was like weird, you know, a neon yellow in a part and a brighter amber in another part, and stuff like that. Whereas the other one that I had, the tried and true, was smoother all the way up. So that's the one that I ultimately, you know, sold, that type of thing. But sometimes I do an experiment like that and actually come out with something better. So
you'd buy the LEDs like all at the same time, Anthony? That's how you knew you'd get an identical batch of bin?
Right. So I never made a blade where I would, let's say, take 50 leftover LEDs and combine it with 50 new LEDs. I never did that. Whenever somebody ordered a blade or I was going to make a blade, I would order, like, let's say the blade took 106 LEDs for the main blade. I would order 110 or 120 just in case a segment got ruined along the way or something happened along the way. I had a couple extra LEDs, and you know, I would build the blade that way. So then when the blade was finished and maybe I had 6 or 10 LEDs left over, I would mark down, you know, JEDI Arms Dealer blade yellow, remaining LEDs. If your blade ever came back, I would have a couple spare, that type of thing. And then if we were going to make another blade, I would order totally new LEDs, because you never know, especially with blues and stuff, were they going to be same exact color? The same, you know, you just kind of weren't sure.
Is that because they were like, some blues would be made by different manufacturers, or is it because they were like rolled off the assembly line at a different time?
I think that one, yeah, different time.
Interesting.
Because I would only buy the LEDs from a specific maker, whereas a lot of people could, you know, you can get them off different makers or go on Amazon and get like 10-cent LEDs. Those aren't the ones I was getting. Like, there was early on, I would try the 15-cent LEDs, the 10-cent LEDs, and I would see the milliamp ratings and the different ratings on the LED. I didn't really know what I was looking at first. When I started building stuff, I would see it like burn out, or it couldn't handle it. You know, you needed certain LEDs that had a rating, and to get those, to find those weren't the 10-cent ones. Those weren't the 15-cent ones. Sometimes they were $1 each, but it had a different rating. It's the ones that were better for our application. You know what I mean? And they're not going to burn out. And, you know, I have people like 10 years later that send an email saying, like, I still show that to my family members. They bug out every single time, you know, or whatever. So it's like, just using the right ones is best, because you won't have to like rebuild the thing again. I'm sure you agree. You know, you gotta. That's one of the reasons why I'm attracted to all your stuff. It's just the best of the best. You know, you're not going to cut any corners. You're going to make sure. I mean, you guys can see in the videos I was showing. You know, with JEDI Arms Dealer's work is just top notch, crazy stuff.
Thank you, Space. The favorite saber of mine you ever did was that triple layer Sith.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. You had like 3 shrouds on that thing, and I was like, how did he do that without a mill or anything? I was like, that was a beautiful saber.
Thank you. A lot of people like that. My friend David designed that lightsaber. He sent me, you know, some sketches and stuff. I think is what it was. He sent me some maybe computer renders. I can't recall. I think it was 3D computer renders he had, where it even had the because my friend printed it out for me in a big poster, and that's one of the ways that I kind of was able to figure out, because it's very complex, of like you know, when the shroud was facing one way and facing the other way, there was different shapes to it. So it was nice that he showed me the different angles, and I was able to kind of. But that was a long time in the making. You know, it was like work on the shroud piece, a lot of elbow grease, and then moving on to the next shroud piece, making sure they work together. And then the more pieces you came up with, the kind of harder it was to get them to all work together, but they all had to fit together. And I'm sure you get you kind of get that of how that goes down. Like what you did with Dimitri's chassis, you had to find out those little things, like what's a millimeter off, like what's, figure out what's going on with it.
Did you do all that shroud work with a Dremel and a Dremel wheel?
Yeah, well, the way I do it is like I cut it out roughly in the rough shape, like leaving extra metal. And then I go to the hand files, which is like my favorite part. I think is like, a lot of people dread all that hard work, but I actually really like putting on a movie. Maybe there's a song on or a podcast that I don't necessarily have to like look at. See, if it's a movie that I haven't seen, I just stop and stand there and now I'm watching Interstellar or something,
Right.
But if it's a movie I have seen, I don't have to look. I just listen and I have fun trying to make it perfect, like,
oh yeah.
That's kind of like a big thing for me. I always I'm trying to make it perfect. Now you can't really get it to be perfect, but just to try, try and try, going to sleep, unsatisfied, like waking up, like doing more, and then kind of only stopping when it got to the point of the drawing,
Right.
My buddy David even had the way the weathering should look on the drawing, the way the color should look. There was like one point where I was like, what do you think about this? And he's like, well, let's get it to look like the drawing. It's like, okay. And then when we finally, got it painted up and looked like the drawing, it really was complete,
Yeah, that one's amazing. I love that saber.
I think the impressive thing for me sometimes with that build, I still go back and send people that video. I show them the red blade that I made for that. Oh man, the red blade. I forget. I think it was the enhanced red tube. I think is what I did there. But whatever happened, whether it was the LEDs that I found, kind of experimented with, were just off the charts. Like whatever lux number I got there was the highest I ever got. And red's not supposed to be like the brightest color, Red is usually on a different spectrum that you're not getting these wild numbers. But I had a number that, and it's in the video, I think, but I had a number that was just like in the like 15,000 or something like that. It was crazy. And
with the red enhanced?
Yeah, because it was a string blade with whatever super brightest red LEDs I could find, made into a string blade. And I think for that one, how I told you I made 2 blades, like every time somebody wanted a blade, I would make 2. I think that time I made 3 with 3 different red type. I made him a double string, and he doesn't know this. Nobody knows. I made a double red. I made a red out of 8mm. And then I made a red out of 5mm. Like the double red was 2 3mm running up. And I tested them, which one is and you could plainly see when I lit up this one, I forget what the stats were on the blade. I think it was one of the 5mm LEDs that I found. When you turned it on, it's the brightest red ever made. I think it was like whatever the number was. You guys can go check it out. I think it's called something Sith Saber on my channel. If you go to my channel and look up Sith Saber, Sith Lightsaber, you might see it there a couple years back. Jake Suff says SpaceWIndu already does the work that nobody wants to do. I can't imagine spending the weekend making a string blade. Yeah, it's like kind of funny. I have Harris over here sometimes, and there was a time I thought he did like that elbow grease work, that hard work, and lately he's been saying he doesn't like it as much anymore.
It looks daunting. Like all that solder smoke must be a lot. When
you're
wow.
That's true too. That is a problem too, because I'll have friends over who I want them to. I'm like, hang out with me, sit over here, watch a movie on one of these. They're like, I don't want to sit in here. You know, because of that, and I do have, like, I seem to have a pretty good flow now of the air purifier that I have going. That it's like a carbon filter that it does seem to have the flow of the solder smoke does go up into it and then kind of out and over my head. So I think I got a good system going right now. And also, I'm not making string blades really at all anymore. I mean, I think when I did Brad's, I mean, you saw when I had that blade for Brad, and then I was making two at the same time, you know. And then when I finished the second one, I was like, oh wow, this is better than the first one. So I have to go back and be like, oh, here's an updated video where I think I ended up sending him the better one, the brighter one. But it's like the difference to the eye looks like, oh, it's brighter. But then when you do the test, you're like, it's a lot brighter. The numbers are way different. So, you know, you kind of can tell quickly when you have a meter, like what even, you know, the eye's tricky sometimes. Sometimes I think I'm looking at something that's 20 to 30% brighter. And when I do the meter, it's twice as bright. Am I losing you again? I think we lost Jedi Arms Dealer putting his hand up like at the dentist, like something hurts.
There you are.
There you are.
I think you're back.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now. I saw you put your hand up. Well, actually, I think your screen's frozen now. You put your hand up.
No audio this time.
Oh.
Your video's working, but I'm not getting any audio right now. So weird. It never normally does stuff like this.
Oh, Melissa asks about Makoto Blade. Jim Smith is asking, or is answering her about that. Yeah, he's actually in Taiwan. Makoto is a friend of mine in Taiwan. He's the one who kind of got me started with string blades in the very beginning. When I needed a string blade for my Crystal Focus LS, which had just come out at that time, I was one of the first. I think I was no, I wasn't the first. I was one of the first people to get it. And I needed a blade made up, and Makoto didn't want to make it for me. But he reluctantly did make it for me. And then when I got it, I had some issues hooking it up and stuff, and ended up having to kind of start making my own string blade just to have a string blade for my CFLS, and got a lot of tips from Makoto. Ended up starting to purchase the blade foam from Makoto because I really liked this quality of blade foam he was using, perfect for what I needed. And I still, to this day, maybe 10 years later, talk to Makoto. He still does what he does, makes the string blade lightsabers using his own proprietary sound card. What I consider with like Makoto sabers is like he sells them for the light in lightsaber. So they're supposed to be like they're like the brightest out there. You buy it for the light. You're not really buying it for the sound. There is sound in it. But some people say, well, it's not the best sound. I don't think you're really buying it for the sound. The sound is nice to have. You're really buying the Makoto saber because of the brightness. He's got a really nice, bright lightsaber. For strips, I see that there may be bleeding, mixing of colors, color interference. Yeah, you could be right, depending on the isolation that we do there, and depending on how long the blade is. Let's get Jedi Arms Dealer back in the stream here.
Yeah.
Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I logged off, and can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Is it
yeah,
nice
before
and
you
loud?
kind of froze. I think you gave me a hand signal before when you went out, and it froze up.
Yeah, and so what I did was I just jumped off and did a speed test real quick, and everything's still showing okay. So
okay. Weird.
I just restarted and jumped on. One of the things I notice is when we're streaming, I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just people, watching the news all day. But whenever we show like one of the videos on the screen, I lose you video or audio wise and video wise a couple times here and there. So I don't know if it's just all the multitasking going on type of thing on both our ends.
I think it could be my end too, because like I have a calamity of windows open, and I noticed that too. Like when I pull up your video here, it like Oh no. You know what? Let me go back to it. Let me go back to a different setup here so that we don't lose him as often. Let's see you come back.
There you are.
Okay, I'm gonna. You know what? I'll leave it in this formation because that's possible that that's like causing some problem. Pulling up, you know, a separate video and trying to show that too.
What were we last talking about?
Well, I'm kind of reading through some of the chat here. Was talking about the 4-strip blade earlier, then a Neopixel blade. How are we going to diffuse it? Steve's talking about. He says I'm the brains of the operation. Let's see. Jedi Master, about 6 weeks ago, I messaged you at Etsy about a possible build, and I've not heard back. Now your Etsy's gone. Are you all booked up? I still want to talk if you do this name at Gmail. So Pegleg Pete wants to know about your Etsy page. Maybe you ran out of products on Etsy.
Whoops. There's
a signal again. See, Pegleg, he's trying to get out of the question here. He's trying to get out of the, trying to weasel his way out of your question. I'm not going to let him get away so easily.
Okay, now you're back.
Now you're back. So you're trying to weasel away from Pegleg Pete's question.
Yeah, that's it. No, the straight up truth on that is I'm literally booked through the end of 2020. And you know, Space knows a little bit more about my schedule. Mine probably looks a little bit like his.
I took up some of his schedule. I'm probably the reason why Pegleg Pete can't get his item.
Well, we learned we collaborate well together, so that helps.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. So no, I'm not going to be, you know, really answering a lot of messages and stuff because it's gotten a little crazy with the release of the new movie until closer to the end of the year. So I apologize about that. I did have to, you know, shut down some of the ways of communication and type of stuff because I got to keep building sabers. So sorry about that. I will get back to you eventually for sure.
Hey, you know what? Jedi Arms Dealer, hit the button that says stop cam or stop cam and see if
Space.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I think he froze up, but I want to see if maybe he goes into this configuration. It becomes better. Game Genie into an NES. What's that about, Steve? Game Genie.
Did you shut down your videos?
Yeah, I was thinking if you hit the little button called Stop Cam and talk to me this way, maybe we'll have better luck with because your video keeps freezing as well. So maybe it's better off if we go without the video.
Okay, I see.
There you go.
Like that?
Yeah. So let's just talk to me like that for a little while, and we'll see if you freeze up, and you let me know if you can't hear me.
Okay. I really do think it's this, you know, madness going on out in the world because the internet's been wonky for me on a lot of things out here in San Diego.
Well, see, one of the weird things in the beginning when you log into StreamYard, we're both kind of going against what they recommend, which is to be Ethernet hardwired. I am not. I am in the Starship Destiny, and I do not have a hardwire out in the middle of my command deck here.
Yeah, if you can hear me, I'm still losing you.
Oh, you're still losing me. Okay, so maybe this isn't helping. But yeah, I don't know. You know, we're both not using Ethernet cable, and that could be something. That would probably help if we both were. But I actually can't. I can't connect that way because I'm in the middle of my command deck, and I don't have a Ethernet cable like that.
I'm in the same boat. So yeah, I'm surfing at about 30 Mbps download and like 5 upload. What are your numbers?
Let me see.
I was just curious, like,
if
maybe I need to go, you know, hardwire in the Mac laptop, and we'll try again.
I'm at let's see, download. Well, my download speed probably doesn't matter, but that's at 67.
Okay.
My upload is 36, 35. Is that bad?
No, yours is actually really good, and you're probably doing that because of your graphic design stuff. You got to move some big files around. That makes sense. Um, but what was the first thing you said we should be doing? Recommended by the StreamYard is being
Uh,
closer to the router.
no, just
Is that
actually
what you said?
using direct
It cut out.
Ethernet, a direct Ethernet cable, which I'm actually not using, but
I
that would
see.
probably help both of us if we were. I'm actually not equipped to set that up right now.
Yeah, well, me either because the iPad I can't plug it in.
Yeah,
But
I've got
no
the
worries.
quantum entanglement antenna. Yeah, Melissa, I will look into incorporating blind accessibility. I have to figure that out.
Okay.
For a blind Padawan Jedi, absolutely. Will definitely look into that. Solar flares. Jim Smith says it's solar flares. Yeah, my old boss used to say it is. What did she used to say? It's Mars. No, Mars misaligned. Uh, Solar flares is something like that. Is it safe to spar with Neopixel blades? Well, it's not safe for humans, but it's pretty safe for the Neopixel blade. You know what?
Yeah.
The worst part about, or the most volatile part about using Neopixel blade is actually making it. That's when it could break. You know, like putting it together, I have to test, I have to test, I have to test. I put the foam on, I test, I put the heat shrink on, I test, I put the, you know, because along the way, all that manhandling and squeezing and pushing and prodding, and I'm trying to squeeze it into the whatever, you know, into the tube at the end, or trying to, you know, putting a lot of pressure on it along the way, especially when I put on the foam. That's kind of a harrowing situation. And the whole volatile part of Neopixel, I think, is putting it together. So once it's together, I think you can totally spar with it. And especially like the blades that I make, anything goes on with it, anything goes wrong with it. I mean, I know it sucks to have to ship it back, but if something did happen to it, I would, you know, take care of it. I would either, you know, remake it or fix it or whatever. Um, yeah, Jim Smith says, yeah, you could duel to a point. Yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes you see those videos where people are like smacking them into trees and stuff. I mean, that, you know, no, because one of the best tips I ever got was about blades back when I was doing the string blades and stuff. Is like people are asking, you know, how durable are they? How durable are they? I think if you're smacking them into other blades, that's the best way to do it. If you smack it into concrete or wood or bricks, that's the worst way to do it. If you smack it into other blades, other lightsabers, that's the way to go. Yeah, I mean, you know, I spend so much time making the blade. Sometimes I don't want to spar with it, but I've got into it sometimes with friends too. I get it. I get it. I never had brothers though, so I never was able to, you know, have a real like bloodlust fight with a family member or anything, because I'm the only boy. My sisters were not into lightsabers. Question for Jedi Arms Dealer by Jake Soft. What inspired you to get into saber building?
Yeah, Jake. Hopefully you guys can continue to hear my audio as I ramble on about this whole thing. This is I don't know about you, Space, but back in 2002, when Master Replicas came out with that first Anakin Force Effects lightsaber that was like the huge, you know, massive hilt that was it wasn't 1-to-1 scale at all. It was huge.
My friend had
Uh,
one.
yeah, I have a couple I need to restore still, but they use that electroluminescent, you know, core blade, and that's the weirdest thing. It's like back in the day when we used to have indiglo gauges in our cars. That's what lit up the car gauges, like, you know, miles per hour and all that stuff. Well, somebody got the genius idea to roll that up into a long tube and put it into an acrylic blade, um, and make the first, you know, licensed Master Replicas lightsaber out of it. So what was funny is when I first got it in the mail, when I was like, this has got to be the greatest thing ever. It makes the sounds and you swing and there's clashes, and this blade lights up. And so when it first came in the mail and I opened it up, I remember opening it up and looking at it and thinking, is this some kind of weird I got? Because it was so weird the way the blade lit up, and it was kind of dim, you know, with the electroluminescent blade and stuff. And so my first impression of, like, the hilt was amazing. It was all chrome and metal and all this stuff. But like when I looked at the blade and it had a seam that went all the way up, you know, to the top of it type of thing, I didn't love the blade on it. And so I was like, you know what? There's got to be a way to do this better. And so that was it for me. I was hooked. I was like, I need to jump into this technology, figure it out, crack it open. And so that was kind of what got me started in the whole thing. And so what's cool, Jake, about you asking this question is I wanted to ask Space what his most valuable licensed and unlicensed saber that he has in his collection. And so I pulled one of mine out of storage. And I don't know, Space, if you've ever seen one of these before, but there was a lightsaber that came out in early 2003 that beat the Master Replica's Anakin Attack of the Clones lightsaber in 2003. So this company in Japan, I think, only released a few thousand of these in Japan only. And it was considered back then the first FX Saber to ever hit the market in Japan. And so I have one here. Have you ever heard of a Tommy lightsaber?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
So I've only been able to find 2 videos on YouTube, and they're like super blurry, super short type of thing. And I happened to see it pop up on eBay in Japan, and I had it imported. And I actually ordered the Luke Skywalker version and the Vader version. And I'm still kicking myself that I sold the Vader version, you know, whatever, years later. But I have the Luke one here, and it is the weirdest saber. It's an all metal hilt, but it has a glass blade on the inside. And so the blade itself is an actual neon blade with like plasma on the inside, like a real neon sign. And so when you ignite it, it makes the hum sound, no swing sounds, no clash sounds. But then it was like, it has a rumble motor in it. So this was back in like early 2003 when I got a hold of this thing and turned it on. I was like, this is it. I'm hooked. I mean, I'm holding this lightsaber that's, you know, literally like shaking in my hand right now. And because of the neon technology, they actually made the blade, you know, crawl, the light crawl up and down the blade. And I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. It may still be, but I brought it out. If you want to turn the video on and see if we can like get a shot of it.
Yeah,
I want to see if you've ever seen this thing.
Because this is the type of thing that I wanted for the longest time. Early on, I saw this, but I realized this is the type of thing that you have to keep it like on your above your fireplace or something, because it's a glass blade. It's not going to be able to take any kind of tap. Right?
Exactly.
Anything at all.
I'm terrified to even bang on this thing too hard.
Like, if you're able to turn this on for everybody, this is a real treat, because this is something from, is this from the 90s? Like, I was looking at these in the 90s.
No, this is the same year that Master Replicas came out with the Anakin Attack of the Clones from 2002. But Tommy, the Japanese company, beat them to it and came out with their own version. So what I'm about to show you is literally the very first lightsaber that was ever made on the planet that's considered an FX Saber, period.
Wow.
So, yeah, here, I'll show you the box. If you can click on my, hopefully I don't get cut off, but
I think if you just hit that button, start cam, we should
see. Hey, look at that. I got to do that part.
You know what? I'm going to make your solo as well. I want to see this thing.
And you know what? I'm going to, because it's getting dark here in San Diego, let me switch on the bedroom light. Hold on. Yeah, man, that's a little better. So here you go.
1 second, because we can't see anything, at least as far as I could tell. 1 second.
Okay.
I could hear you, but you're frozen from a few minutes ago smiling.
All right, let me know when it comes
when
back.
it catches back. Yeah, because when you got up to turn the light off, you were you remained there. Okay, now I see you.
Ah.
Okay, Tommy, this name reminds. I think I saw something about this. Maybe Harris showed me something. This is wild. Yeah, we could see you now. We could see you moving. Maybe you lost audio, but we could see you.
You can see me
Yeah.
now? Okay, cool. So Jake, to answer your question, this is the saber right here that got me into it. When I unpacked this thing from Japan, I was like, these guys know exactly what they're doing. So let me scan the box.
Okay, so it was the
Tom,
Graflex style. Okay, when you said Luke
Yeah.
Skywalker, I almost thought it was going to be Return of the Jedi.
No, they went with the old Graflex. Imagine
This
that.
is wild. So, do you think this is licensed by Lucasfilm?
It is. It's not a bootleg. It actually
Whoa.
has. Yeah, and so not a lot of people know about this. And I've searched YouTube for videos, and it's just the two that are on there, you know, are just so blurry and stuff. So I wanted to take your show to be the first time to like show something like this. This is my baby. This is my favorite licensed saber right here.
This is crazy because I know about this. Is crazy. This is rare. This is rare.
Yeah. So here's the box. We'll scan down the whole thing, and it's all in Japanese. I mean, except for so if you guys don't know, Tommy is the company that makes, you know, a ton of their toys over there in Japan, and they do all the Pokemon toys and stuff like that, you know, after this whole Star Wars thing. But what's kind of crazy about it? You still hear me, Space?
Yep.
Okay. What's crazy about it is it comes with like a samurai sword sheath.
Whoa.
That it goes inside of it, and then it's got a samurai sword like stand that looks like something a samurai sword would sit on.
That's crazy.
And so then in Japanese, they explain how the light travels up and down the blade using neon technology. It's got a vibration motor in it. You can see his hands are all shaking there.
So
this is early 2002.
Like
early
the blade
2002.
just remains in there, right? Like the
So they
blade
actually
has to
beat
stay.
Master Replicas to this whole thing, and they only made a Luke Skywalker and I think the Vader ESB version of it, which I wished I wouldn't have gotten rid of, but I did. So here's the saber itself, and so here's their not accurate at all, but you know it's got the bubble strip. Yeah, it's metal. I was shocked when I pulled it out. Like, to me, because I kind of got the Anakin first from the Attack of the Clones from Master Replicas, and it was just so big. I wasn't that impressed. The blade was weird. Wow, now this is pretty cool, but like, you know, this is horrible. It's not like a glass eye, but it's got pinchable bunny ears, and then like the button is just kind of weird. And so then there's an extra screw here that's like the mystery screw. But the clamp is blank. There's no Graflex logo on it. And then it has like, you know, plastic grips, and then all this is metal. And then, you know, here's the...
Ooh, I like the pommel.
Here's the speaker sound venting. But the coolest thing about it is it's a real plasma blade. It's an actual... So it has a polycarbonate sanded, and it's really thick. It's like a good, I'd say, 1.25 inches in diameter.
That must be like the Makoto 1.2 or 29.5 millimeter style thing I was saying before. That's about the size of it, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. When you were explaining that, I was just like, okay, that totally reminds me of this. Now it's a shorter blade. I'd say it's only like maybe 30 inches.
That's perfect. Perfect.
And so it's got a big old blade tip on it. And then they put diffusion in here, and it's a sanded blade. And then, but the coolest thing about it, let me see if I can move back here. The activation's on the bubble strip, and it has a delay. Let me see if I get the whole thing in here. It has like an actual delay in it. And so you fire it up, and what the soundboard is doing is slowly increasing like the voltage that goes to the neon tube inside of here.
Oh.
And so you'll see the light start. So there's no LEDs. And so you'll see the light slowly start to grow as the voltage increases and lights up the entire neon tube. It's really weird. So I'm going to turn it on.
Wow.
It's
That was
freaky.
cool.
It's so freaky. And so let me see if I can hold it up.
That looks so legit.
And so if you hear the rumble motor, that's all you hear. And then the ignition and retraction sound goes to the speaker, but the hum is the actual rumble motor. I don't know if you can hear that.
Oh, okay.
And
This
then the
thing's
retraction.
awesome.
And the retraction's the same thing. So this is my rarest piece in my collection, and what got me into this.
Wow.
So thank you, Jake, for asking that, because I wanted to allude into this and then shut it down and watch. So that's literally the gas being electrified in a positive voltage,
yes,
and a negative voltage inside.
I never knew how that part of it would appear. I thought it was going to appear instant on, but no, it's a relative scrolling.
Whoops,
you lost me. I was saying that if you can hear me, about I was really surprised with the way that neon appears in a scrolling way. That's bugged out. That is.
I've never seen anything. Yeah, I've never seen anything like it since. That's what's so bizarre about it. Now, do you remember the plastic hilt sabers that came out a couple years later that had the thumb touch sensitive things, and you could roll your thumb up and down this like metal strip, and you could control the length of the neon gas?
That's awesome. No,
I gotta pull that out for the next time we have a Saber talk, because it's in storage as well. I didn't pull it out, but it doesn't make any sound. It's got this thumb sensitive strip on it, and I don't know how they do it, capacitive resistance thing, and it literally makes the gas like grow up and down the blade on the inside. It's weird, but plastic hilt. So let's see.
DNN is here. What's going on, DNN? He's saying what's up. There's a question from Steve. Let me pull this one up. A question for saber makers: how on earth do you get those annoying C clips that hold the pommel? Well, you need a special tool.
Yeah,
I'll show you the tool here. It's almost within reach. I'll kind of show you, and I'll show you in person again, Steve, next time you come over.
Compression tool.
Yeah. Yeah, so you need something that like goes into those little holes on the C-clip. So you have to get these type of pliers that, you see, when I squeeze it, they open up, right? That's like one function of it. When you switch the lever here, you're actually going to get it like kind of reverses the operation. So you need to utilize these types of pliers to compress the C-clip, push it and slide it into the pommel, release the C-clip, and then maybe it also helps to have like a pencil or something like wood stick or something to kind of just push down. If it's not fully seated, you may have to push down the C-clip as you kind of, it's almost like one of those operations you need 3 hands for it. Am I right, Jedi Arms Dealer? You almost need 3 hands to kind of install those.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you squeeze it with the pliers, and a lot of times if it's like a ways down in the hill, you squeeze the pliers, you get it compressed, and then I'll take like a regular head screwdriver right next to it, and then try to get it to lay down flat in the bottom of the hilt on the speaker grill plate, and then you kind of just let go, and it should stay in place, right, Space?
Yeah, it kind of depends on what pommel you're dealing with. Some are like easier than others. Like if it's like that pommel version 1, which is very shallow, that's kind of easy. But if it's like one of those other ones that's like deeper, it might be an issue.
I'm reading Jim Smith's comment.
Let's see. Excelsior Sabers, welcome. Keep calm and saber on. That's what you got to do. Tough times like these. I'm sure Jake Soft's wow was because of your neon saber. I mean, this is something I wanted to order one of those. This was I've talked about this before on Saber Talk, I think, and you're the first person Jedi arms dealer that's ever, I think, known what I was talking about and actually had one. Amazing. But they were available through like a single maker. It was before you got that. The idea, I think, it may have been had in multiple places in the world, right? I think someone in the UK was building them one by one, and they were selling them on the internet, on a website, and it was like, I think it was like 1,400 or it was like 1,900. But I realized that it was something for the wall. You know, if I had known that it was honestly as wieldable as the one you just showed, I probably would have ordered it. But I thought it was something that if I swing this just once and it hits, I mean, maybe that's true about yours, but yours looks sturdy. It looks, and like you said, it's not that long of a blade that it's going to, you know, you can kind of.
It. Yeah, I'd say it's a 30-inch blade. They shortened it.
It looks good. It looks good. I like a lot of, like, I've been making a lot of 32 and 31 and 30-inch blades. I think they're a lot of fun to swing around.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't. I don't know how much that costs you, but I wouldn't swing that around knowing how rare it is. But
no,
that's wild. That is wild.
Yeah, the fact that it's like, you know, real plasma. You know, there's just something about when I turn that thing on, I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah. Well, I love that effect. Like I was saying to you before, I think your audio went out. That the effect of that coming out, I also didn't realize that was going to happen. I thought it was going to be instant on, like a neon sign, boom. You know, like, but I knew how bright a neon sign was, so I knew that at the time, especially in the late 90s, it was like 1998. Me and my friend were looking for this type of stuff online, and I realized that it being neon or argon, whatever it was going to be. There he is again with the finger. It was going to be the brightest thing available at the time.
And you're back.
Yeah. I was just saying I kind of knew that type of plasma blade was going to be the brightest thing at the time. I was always searching for like what could be like a real lightsaber. The only thing that held me back was the fragility.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, you can't duel with it at all. I wouldn't even try. And I can't imagine what that thing's worth right now. There's got to be, I mean, literally only a couple thousand left on the planet, I would think.
If people have had, I mean, now we're talking 20 years later, because you said that was like 2002 or 2003. We're basically 20 years later.
Exactly. It was, and so I'm amazed when I put batteries in it that it still fires up because there's
what kind of
gas in there.
What does it take? Like 2 9 volts or something?
No, it takes 4 AA's.
Wow. Okay. I didn't. You know, I also think I don't know if Jim Smith is commenting here if about plasma sabers. If plasma sabers was the one that I found 20 years ago online, but he's saying Tomy copied plasma sabers. Maybe that's the one I was looking at online. I think that those. See, it's amazing what they did with this Tommy Sabers did here. Is amazing that it goes up and down. It's powered by AA's.
Vibrates.
It vibrates. It has some sound. It's amazing because I think that this other one that I was looking at online for, I told you about $1,500, whatever it was.
Whoa.
I never bought, but I think it was a plug-in thing. I think you plugged it in and it had the wire. And so this is a major improvement over that one that I saw a few years before. Oh, Excelsior Sabers remembers those back in the day. Yeah, that's something I had seen. Maybe it was Plasma Sabers or this one in the UK I think they were in. But I never saw the one that you said from Japan, the one that you have from Japan. That's a really nice one. And the fact that it's in like a Graflex style hilt, that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm glad I've hung on to it this long for sure. That's one of those I'll never sell.
Yeah, no, that's a keeper. It's so gleamingly shiny too. And plus, since you're kind of a fan of the Graflex and you got the glass flex and you like Graflexes, you like doing the chassis, that's just another thing in the line of like, look, here's another style of Graflex that, along the way, along those many years in between Star Wars movies, this came out. It's really cool.
Yeah, it was the first one, so I'm stoked that I have one.
Oh yeah, Jim Smith says plasma sabers are made one at a time and were sold for 1,200, 1,700, and at a 33-inch length. Yeah, I remember when I looked, I thought they were, I thought I remembered the number 1,900 or 1,500, something like that. But it was something.
Wow. No,
and
I picked it up. In Japan. Well,
Jake is laughing at the internet.
eBay, I think it's eBay dot whatever, JA, I forget.
Oh yeah.
You go to the Japanese site, and I was looking for them, and I finally found Luke's, and it was about $350 US shipped.
Oh wow, okay.
So
I would have jumped on that if I had seen that. If we were friends back then and you had told me about it, I would have bought it. I would have bought one too. But yeah, like
and then they.
Back at that time, Jake is laughing about the internet in 1998 because back at that time you didn't know, like when Japan, I would have trusted. I would have trusted. Right. I would have said, okay, they're going to send me the Saber. But I was worried. Like I had ordered a Saber from the UK that was an EL, and I had ordered, it was like 1998, and I had ordered it. I told this story before. I'll try to make it short, but it's like I had ordered the Saber, a year goes by or 14 months goes by, and my roommate says, what happened? You said you ordered the Saber. I was like, I ordered it. I swear to God, I sent them like 1,200 or whatever it was, 800, whatever it was, 1,000, and I still don't have it. And then he says, you got to call them. You got to call them. I was like, me? We were afraid to call, but there's a number. There was a number to call. So I called the number. I was like, and there's like someone on the other side, like, hello? And I'm like, I ordered a Lightsaber so many months ago. And eventually we got the Lightsaber. And it was one of the ones like you were talking about with the EL blade, not very bright, no sound at all in the ones with the EL blade. But
they were horrible.
It came in a Graflex shell, better than, probably more accurate than, it was like a Parks, like they took the Parks Graflex and then they turned it into the EL. And I think Parks had its own version of EL. Eventually, my friend, my same roommate who were waiting for that first Saber, he ordered the Parks EL somewhere. It was in America. And he ordered that. That came far quicker in probably about 6 months. I think he got his. And he got one with, it was supposed to be twice as bright, but we're talking about EL. It took... It's supposed to be twice as bright, and it took 2 9-volt batteries instead of mine, one. So, and it was brighter, but we're talking about EL, so it's still dim, right? It was still like kind of garbagey.
Yeah, I've got 3 of those. I've got 3 of the old Parks ELs.
Some of the designs were very unique and like different from the movies. Very cool. I remember, checking through some of those, trying to figure out which one to order, which Parks do I want, and they were just so expensive. When my friend finally picked, he decided, let's just get another Graflex model, since that's what we were familiar with from the movies.
Yeah. I don't remember plug-in, but Plasma Sabers was 2.9 volt.
Oh, no, 2 9-volt. He says 2 9-volt.
Oh, I see.
Okay. So maybe I was wrong about the plug-in thing. I'm not sure. But so, I remember thinking, how is it going to be like a neon if it's not plugged in? But yours is nice. Yours is real nice.
Well, I think all you have to do is get to 9 volts, because the Park Sabers run off. And let me think. That's 1 volt. That's 4. 1 volt. Well, no. This one. Well, for EL, yeah, you got to get to 9 volts. Because if you do the battery math on the original Master Replicas Sabers where they use the EL blade, all of them are 9 volts, even if they use AA's.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So, like, how many volts do you think are like is yours like 7 something volts? The one with the argon that you have, or is it add up to 9 when you go like 1.5, 1.5, 1.5? Like, how many AA's are in there?
No, well, not the. You're talking about the Tommy one?
Yeah.
Well, that's argon gas.
Yeah.
So it would be 4 AA's. So that's 6 volts.
Okay.
But no, like when we're talking about the Tommy lightsabers, they either use, like, as you know, they use a 9-volt
Right.
straight up battery. But when you go to the EL Master Replicas sabers, the Anakin Attack of the Clones, and then the very second saber they put out was the Anakin Return of the Jedi. There was a super short run of those that were green EL lightsabers, and so those used 6 AA batteries.
I had one of those. Yeah, I had one of those I bought as a gift for somebody. I remember that. The Luke Return of the Jedi that took 6 AA's. That was a nice green. I thought that was a good lightsaber. I ended up buying 2 of those because I smashed one of them before I was able to give it away as a gift.
Right,
oh, this is cool. Melissa's World says the saber I'm getting is from a couple of people in the saber community as a gift. Oh, that's cool.
Nice. Very, very cool gift.
Steve says I first got into the lightsaber world when I was flipping through the TV channels and saw the 2007 Master Replicas on the Home Shopping Network. The rest is history. Yeah, I remember that, you know, they give you a great deal, I think, a lot of the times for those sabers back 2005, 2006, 2007. They were like, original price was like either $149 or $125, and then they would sell them for like $99. A lot of the times around the holidays or at certain stores, they'd have them for like $90, $99, and I thought that was just a great deal because when you open up the package, it was a metal hilt. It's something that's like 3 feet long. I mean, it was a toy that made sound and light. I thought that was it remains, even at I think $200, a really good deal for what you get. You know, I'm not happy anymore. Obviously, you pick it up and it's like you buy that Kylo Ren one or something very thick, very big hilt, very fat, a little bit like nothing like the movie kind of, or not enough like the movie in the way it looks and the way it feels. But at the time when these came out in 2005, 2006, those types were like the best that we could get. And they were reasonably priced. So that was a treat.
Well, when they went from that, I remember the jump in 2003 was an EL Return of the Jedi Luke Master Replicas. And then I read on the Master Replicas site that they had come out with a new string blade technology, and it was the 2004 Darth Vader, but it was a really big hilt. It wasn't 1-to-1.
Oh.
And so when I got one of those to the house and fired that thing up and got to see, you know, the 6 segments light up, I was blown away. I was like, oh really? Finally they figured it out. This is the greatest thing ever. Because the EL was just kind of like an on-off type of, with no scrolling, you know?
I thought I had an EL that
Vader was
scrolled.
Just heaven when I turned it on.
Do you remember any of the ELs scrolling? I thought I remember the ELs like being scrolling as well. Am I wrong about that? Not the ELs from like Parks, but weren't the EL from like Master Replicas and stuff like scrolling?
No.
No? I guess my memory confused me.
No, that EL tube just turned on and turned off. It was just a transformer that lit up the whole thing. And you know one weird thing about those sabers, the EL lightsabers, if you took one and ignited it, and you remember the old pre-LED TVs that were like, you know, the glass CRT TVs, the old school ones?
Very heavy.
Yes. If you took one of those sabers and you waved it in front of it, you could actually, it would distort the screen.
Whoa.
Yeah, from the electromagnetic part of it.
That's crazy.
So cool. That was the coolest thing about the sabers, is you could like mess with your TV.
That's wild.
Yeah.
You mean like one of the kind of the first flat, like when they called it flat screen, but it wasn't, it was still a big fat TV, but it was a flat screen. Is that what you're talking about?
It's the kind that had the old school glass tubes, you know,
right,
the old TVs.
Yeah. Melissa says, they gifted it to me. I'm still waiting though. Whoops. Patience is hard, but I meditate off and on to help.
Come on, internet, work with us.
Jedi Arms Dealer has a lot of patience right now with his with whatever internet issue is going on.
Yeah, I can't figure this one out yet. We've restarted everything.
But I think you're right. Like when I click on it, it could be like my situation too. Like when I click on something, on my end, I feel like it stutters your feed or something. Like, watch, like when I click on a comment, I feel like it stutters your feed. Are you there? Are you there?
Yeah, I can
No,
still
okay.
hear you. But the reason I know the internet is totally loaded up is Amazon's loading slow as heck right now.
Oh, okay.
So everything is just bogged down. Even eBay's crawling to load pages.
Yeah,
That
like
never happens.
this whole thing is like quite scary because there's this whole run on a lot of the supplies and food and stuff, but
Yep.
what, like, we're still stable as far as internet and electricity, as far as I know, for most people. Things like that, running water, it's just really, really awful to think, like, if any of those things also had a problem, like, we would be shit up a creek.
Yeah.
It's just like one thing is enough to destabilize like everything and throw everybody out of whack, and everyone is kind of in an uproar. And that, I don't even want to think about what might happen if like the power went out or the whatever, because like
Oh
just
my
on a
God. Well,
hopefully all that stuff just holds true while we
I
get through this.
I know. I actually saw like, one of those boxes that somebody makes and puts text in the inside of it on Facebook type of thing.
Hmm.
And it said something like the rest of the world freaking out because we have to quarantine ourselves. And it says the entire state of Florida relieved that they have electricity and clean water. Normally they don't during a hurricane. And I was like, wow,
Right.
there's perspective for you.
Yeah, there's also like, I guess, some like upsides to it, that it's not like flesh eating. That's an upside. There's like, it could be worse. It could be worse. So there's a few, it's not in the water supply and stuff like that. So
Right.
as long as
Yep.
you got some stuff inside your house that you could work on,
Oh yeah.
do that. Like for me, I can draw. I could work on lightsabers. There's hopefully people out there, they got stuff that they could do. I know my buddies that have kids and stuff are really in a tough spot because they're forced to teach the kids as well as do their own work, as well as have their own life and stuff, and all within the house. So it's tough. It's tough to have to take care of other people too when you're just trying to get through it on your own.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely one of the weirdest situations I think I've ever been through as far as like,
Yeah,
global panic, but people just need to chill and,
it's kind of weird too that
do their
like,
part helping
yeah,
out the elderly and stuff. That's kind of where I'm at.
yeah, for sure. Like, you remember back, like maybe it was 5 or 6, 7 years ago, like the last time I can remember anything, even this is not even close, but this is the closest thing I could think of, that like people had to respond to, or people had to be affected by, kind of worldwide. The only thing I can kind of think of, I mean, besides wars and things like that, was a few years ago, there was like a volcano. Do you remember? It was like in Iceland, or was it Greenland? It exploded, and they couldn't do flights, and people's products weren't getting shipped from Europe, and there was like FedEx stopped their planes for a couple days, or there was like a couple months that this volcano was going off. There's a plume, and that was like the last time I could remember like a lot of people's attention brought to one thing. And then
Yeah.
this is just something on such a bigger scale that like everybody's attention is on one thing, which is such a weird scenario. Like you said, that I've never kind of felt that either, where like everyone in the world is kind of thinking about this one thing. And
Yeah.
yeah, like I kind of got I got one, was it a text? I know it's some kind of email or a Facebook thing from my mom yesterday, that said I had seen it after 9 p.m., but it said on it like 9 p.m. we're gonna have like a worldwide prayer. We're gonna get everyone to pray at 9 p.m. Interesting. It's interesting that, first of all, if that power works, you would get everybody behind it, because nobody wants this.
The
Um,
force,
the
right? The
force, yeah.
force. Hey.
You know, that's funny that you said the Force, because my buddy Kevin was telling me today that, you know, possible causes of this and stuff like that, and obviously we're not experts. This kind of sounds like a rumor and things, so I guess we'll leave it up to whatever they find. I see that Jedi Arms Dealer kind of lost me there, so I'll wait a second, see if he returns with his audio.
Go.
Okay,
you're back.
Yeah,
you're back.
I saw that your video is still frozen, but I can hear you now. So, you know, one of the things in the world that changed when this started over in Asia was now my buddy Kevin kind of pointed out to me that he's kind of heard some stirring, some kind of rumor, some kind of rumbling that you know, as technology changes, the human body like responds in different ways, and we get affected by radio signals and different signals and stuff like that. Some people could even hear electricity. You know, you could hear that little fuzz of electricity sometimes when there's moisture on big power lines. And then we go to radio waves, and then we go to Wi-Fi waves, and then we go to 5G launched in those provinces that we're discussing over in Asia in January. Now everybody converted to 5G. Everybody wants 5G. I mean, when I first heard 5G, I got a tingle in the Force that was negative. Something about 5G, I said, because I learned about it. I went and I watched some videos about 5G. You know, iPhone 11 is coming out with 5G. Okay, that's going to be on the iPhone 12 or whatever the case is. I'm watching these videos, and one of
the conspiracy thing.
Well, I'm just watching videos. This is back when 5G first came out.
Oh, right.
A couple months back, 6-8 months ago, whatever it was, and they're talking about 5G phones coming out and 5G systems going live and everything else. In New York is going to start using 5G. And 5G, I learned a couple facts about it, was that it's powerful, but it's not long range. It's short range. So it's like when you put them in the building or outside the building, you might need a bunch of antennas to overlap areas to get the good Wi-Fi that we're talking about when we're talking about 5G. So my sort of Force sense went off, my spider sense went off at that notion, you know. And it's just something to think about. I mean, I don't know anything. I'm just throwing this like notion out there that, you know, there's things that we're doing, that inventions come to light, they come out, new signals play a part in the body's response. You know, is it possible that the 5G signal is, or is it a coincidence that something mutated and Mother Nature worked in this manner at this particular time? Or is it something else? Or is it something, it's a combination? I don't know. You know, it's just weird stuff, weird coincidences, stuff that will come to light later. But it's just, you know, when you're like in tune with the Force and you can kind of feel these like tingling notions. Sometimes someone tells you something, you kind of think something's weird about it, or maybe it rings true. Maybe something sounds false.
Yeah.
When I learned that those things about 5G, that oh, you know, it's a short wave, it's a short signal, but it's powerful, it's going to give everybody this fantastic speed. Thinking, short range, that doesn't sound good. Something doesn't sound good about that, you know. You need a lot of these. You need a lot of these type of transmitters. That means the building is going to be crawling with them, and we're going to be enveloped, you know. But who knows? We play with a lot of this stuff in our Sabers, right? We got the Bluetooth, we got the signals bouncing around, and who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I always wonder about that. It's even like, you know, the electroluminescent blade, talking about waving it in front of, you know, a TV, and it would distort the image, and, you know, those are radio frequencies that are right out there in front of us, even with
like a visual example of kind of
that doing to us, and to cells, and to absolutely vibrations are, you know, it's everywhere.
what's that little device called that they measure the radiation with, and little, like, tick tick tick.
Geiger counter.
The Geiger, yeah. Or there's that other radio wave meter. I might be mixing up the two, but I remember back in the 80s, my dad.
Wait, no, I'm wrong. Geiger counter is earthquakes.
Oh yeah, that's
no,
yeah. There's a.
Okay, no, I don't know.
There's like a. I forget the name of it. For radio waves and stuff. My dad brought one home and he tested back in the 80s. You know, our tube TV, and there's frequencies coming off of that, for sure. And we've got a lot of stuff working off that. Like right now, we said earlier, we're not connected by Ethernet. We are
Right.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we're
So
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi does something, and Bluetooth does something, and radio waves does something.
Yeah, there's a bunch of spooky videos out there about Wi-Fi. It's yeah.
Yeah, Steve's ST Production is talking about the stand. I was gonna ask Jedi Arms Dealer, like, how many real movies are we gonna, like, how many real life movies are we gonna have to live through? Like, I just thought that those were just movies. But we actually have to step in, we're some of these movies that is kind of funny that over the past couple of years we've passed by the time that a lot of these future movies were supposed to take place, right? So it's like we watched a Transformers cartoon movie growing up, Transformers the movie, it says the year is 2005, the Autobots have done this and that, Cybertron has fallen and all. And so they thought the future was 2005. If you watch Blade Runner, the flying cars and the screens and stuff in this, it's November 2019.
Oh wow.
And to see where we are, and a lot of the themes from those future movies did come to play, right? Like, we're carrying around iPads, so some of Star Trek kind of made it through. They were carrying around iPads, and we have some of this stuff. We don't have flying cars, but some of these movie things came to be. It's just wild that we have to live through these nightmarish movies too. Why? That sucks, We need to get some superpowers and live through those superpower movies.
There you go. Maybe that's one thing that'll come out of this, right? We'll get some superpowers out of it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe some people will. That would be strange. That would be very, very strange. MCS Studio says, I wouldn't worry about the 5G. Sun's radiation is far more powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
A Metro by T-Mobile store for 3 years. Oh, Jim owned a cell phone store. I used to work in a cell phone store for years, so we would. That's why we get along so well, I think. Yeah, I was down there on the ground floor of all them beepers and stuff. People would take me their beepers. That's one of the first places I learned how to solder. Was I had to solder those little components into beepers once in a while. The guy that owned this store, his dad would do that and kind of show me sometimes what to do. And I kind of remember thinking at the time, do I really need to know this? But I would have to fix I would have to fix beepers sometimes, to be quite honest, and it helped. And then when cell phones came out, it's we tried to kind of tinker with the cell phones, but it was too complicated inside. We couldn't really fix anything that went wrong with those at the store. But the beepers we could sometimes fix.
And look at you now.
Yeah, could you believe that?
Making weapons, making fun weapons.
Melissa says, Master Jedi,
so,
when
hey,
it comes.
I gotta ask you, what is your favorite Lucas licensed saber that you have or have held?
I guess by Lucas license, do you mean a movie saber? It doesn't really have to be made by Lucas, right? It just has to be a movie saber, even if it's let's say it's a.
Well, I was gonna ask you what your favorite licensed through the Star Wars universe saber is, but then I'd also like to know what your favorite custom is, you've either ever done or built for someone else. I don't know if I've ever asked you this.
Yeah, I think as far as licensed saber, if you mean a saber from the movie, Qui-Gon, because
Yeah.
I love the way the Qui-Gon looks. Those deep grooves, the scalloped grooves, to me, and the arrangement, to me, looks like radiator cooling fins off of like a future laser.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me.
Huh.
Yeah, like it makes sense to me that this is a lightsaber, a laser sword. That's how I see that lightsaber. And the fact that it's black, that's really cool too. It just looks different than other lightsabers that we saw. You know, obviously at the end of the Phantom Menace, we see Darth Maul's double-bladed lightsaber, which was a completely different thing than we had ever seen at the time. But I just mean lightsaber design as far as going down to the details. But then actually, when you ask about the other type of lightsaber, just any kind of lightsaber, like a custom, it would definitely have to be my my Jedi Assassin, which is made by Darth Chasm off the FX Saber forums. That is really, really awesome. Kind of a Koran horn mixed with a Kyle Katarn, I guess you could say. You know, a lot of inspirations from those video games of the early 2000s, and it's got a copper emitter. It's got a knurled hand grip, and it's, when you open it up, it's got a lot going on inside with a custom crystal chamber and a brass sleeve with a lot of detail in it, holding all the electronics made for me by my friend Mike. So that really meant a lot to me, because it kind of represents like my Jedi character. Like if I was to dress up in a cosplay stuff, go out to the cons or whatever, I would go as that character. And that character is kind of, I call it the Jedi Assassin, because it's like, let's say a secret type of Jedi who he's not known to the academy students and like lower tier people, but he's known to like the upper like masters as just some kind of like, they don't really want him around because he's skirts close to the dark side, maybe like Mace Windu. But they do, when they need that guy, they go find him to go take care of business that, let's say, would send another Jedi to the dark side if they went and like did an assassination. Like my character could go do the assassination and still be on the light side.
I like that.
Yeah, not on the light side close enough to where I could be at the academy teaching. They don't trust me that much, but they trust me enough to like call me when they need that like Sith Lord dealt with. I think you may have froze. Oh, now you're back. Now you're back. Yeah, I was saying they would call me when they need the Sith Lord dealt with, you know, the Jedi Assassin lightsaber. If you guys want to check out that video, you can go to my probably back a couple years, I guess 2017. It's called the Jedi Assassin, so you can look for that.
And that's like your kind of cosplay outfit that's all black.
Yeah, yeah. So I got, you know, the whole
that's badass
cape and everything and the boots and all.
Yeah, that's badass. But I always wondered why it was black. You know, it's just kind of like, I'd like to hear that story. So that was cool.
Melissa says, Master Jedi, when it comes to the Force, I learned to use the Force sight and channel Force sight through my cane to navigate.
Nice.
That's almost.
I will make, solemnly vow, I will make a Jedi lightsaber cane for myself when I need it.
That's awesome, yeah.
You know, when I'm like, whatever, 70, 80, I'm going to have one badass lightsaber cane.
Yeah. I could see, like, I'm not picturing
a
lightsaber. I'm picturing, like, if I were to make a cane, I would probably make like a steampunk. I think I could configure something that was kind of a lot of greeblies, a lot of accent lights, a lot of vents. And maybe with a cane, you could do your smoke trick. Like, let's push a button on the cane.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like a steampunk style cane where you push a button and the smoke comes out the bottom. Like you can make a clean getaway.
You could, and you could sync it up with the sounds on the so you know, it's like when the steam comes out.
Yeah. It could be run by a sound card and all.
I like that idea.
MCS Studios had to go to dinner. Have a great day, everyone. Happy building. Happy building to you too. I hope you get your first builds off the ground very successfully. I'm sure they'll turn out great. Let us know if you need any help. Sadly, if radiation does anything to you, it just gives you cancer, no superpowers. That's what Jake Soft says. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. You know, when I read Hulk and all those comic books back in the day, I thought, you know, maybe some radiation, a nice healthy zap of radiation would maybe give me some kind of Phoenix powers. I didn't really want Hulk powers, but I would have dealt with like Wolverine powers or something like that. But, you know, luckily I didn't get a chance to try that out ever, or else I might not be here anymore. Yeah, pager repair. That's where I started soldering. And then I think I got more tips from like Nova Star's videos back about 10 years ago. I watched Nova Star's videos, learned how to solder to the crystal focus. If you guys need help, YouTube is great to just look up. You know, it was the early days of YouTube, so I would look up, you know, soldering help, lightsaber or something, and get Nova Star's videos. And now I'm sure there's a lot more soldering videos you guys can check out. ST Productions says, your lore for the Jedi Assassin is similar to my idea for a Jedi Crusader who uses medieval-like armor and big two-handed crossguard saber. Yeah, well, see, Steve, you could imagine into your story that the armor, you know, write it in that the armor is not heavy. Because like in the Star Wars world, there's other materials, you know? So there's like transparent steel, which is like our plexiglass, you know, it's transparent steel. So they call it transparent steel. There is plexus steel, which is like our plastic, but it's stronger. So they call it plexus steel. So this could be like, and we got like Beskar, right? In the Mandalorian world, different types of armor like cortosis that deflects armor. It kind of glows red. It looks like ruby red. So you could imagine like a different material for your outfit, for your costume, and just say, you know, hey, this is like a big armor, but it's like, it's lightweight. You know, it's a Star Wars material. Oh, this is kind of funny. Steve says, no one ever says Dooku Saber is their favorite. Well, no, I have a friend who I think Dooku Saber is his favorite. I think Dooku Saber is his favorite. I did one up for him maybe a year ago, and it had like a lit button. I think it was one of those 89 Sabers Dookus or one of those Ultimate Works Dookus.
Ultimate Works.
Yeah.
I love that hilt.
The Nova Star, yeah, Jake's the Nova Star. So I think it's awesome. SpaceWIndu got him as I guess a few times. Yeah, I'm actually tune in. I think it's going to be Friday, maybe Thursday or Friday. Jake, if you're around, come back and talk to Nova Star. We're going to do a FX Sabers live, just me and Nova Star for probably a couple hours. He's real excited to do it. We're going to talk about a lot of different stuff. That'll be FX Sabers live, probably Friday. He's home just like the rest of us, like doing, you know, we don't have anything to do. So we'll come online and talk about his Diamond Dragon story, talk about lightsabers. He's got a screenplay that he wrote called Diamond Dragons. It's really cool. I'm just about done reading it. Yeah, Steve.
Is that who the am I allowed to bring up the Doctor Strange discs?
Yes, that's who it's for.
Secret?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's too bad he's not in here, because I would tell him that you know, I actually already told him I had a few friends help me with it, because I had my friend Kevin who he met online a couple weeks ago help me with the design when I got frustrated with doing the artwork.
Yeah. That was a lot of work. Oh my God.
And then Kevin says, you know, I could do that fast, because I was complaining, this will take me 3 hours. He says, I could do it faster. So he did it, gave that to me. I gave that to you. You got the work done. You gave that back to me. And when we showed Nova Star what the preview looked like, what you showed me, I mean, we're all so excited about it. But I didn't take it any further yet. I've been busy with Saber stuff, but that's, I mean, that'll be another episode. because that is wild. Can you imagine if I was holding those two up right now, like the way that they're gonna light up? You know, those Doctor Strange toys. Oh,
I can't even believe how real they look. It's unreal.
they look crazy. They look so good.
On. Yeah,
they look so good.
That's gonna be insane. What a great idea by you, man! Wow, I was like.
Some people were kind of doing that online already, but I just wanted to take it to the next step of like putting it with a good soundboard and putting with our good light effects, because people have that idea with the plexiglass and the light going through it, and it looks good. But this is just going to be something like when you walk into the con with one of our sabers that's bright as can be, Neopixel, and you see everyone else's saber is not like that. It's going to be like that. You know, he's going to go in. There's going to be other Doctor Strange people with those. But then he's going to walk in with these, and everyone's going to be like, that's the real Doctor Strange. That's the real Doctor Strange.
Are they doing the animations on the others ones you've seen? Or is it just solid on, solid off?
Solid on. Yeah, like I've seen some of them do the color warping, but it's just like the kind of the simple way, like RGB,
like the light behind me,
or like this that you made me. I think it's like similar to this, where the color will kind of fade and warp, but nobody's got the chips. Like nobody's powered it. Oops, I have to pick that up. Nobody's got the chips like we got going on in ours.
Yeah, that's gonna be sick.
Melissa says she feels like the Force is guiding her, considering super low vision. I hear you. You definitely need the Force. You can see better with the Force than without the Force, for sure.
I love that.
Yeah, Steve was here a couple weeks back. I'm going to get him back to work on that quad strip blade. In the meantime, you're on Instagram, right? Right, Jedi Arms Dealer. Is it Jedi Space Arm Space Dealer?
No, it's all one word. And I remember you telling me you found another one on there, and so I'm curious to like try. Like when
I tag you, is that you? Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
Or okay, all right.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
I have the right one. So it's Jedi Arms Dealer, all one word, on Instagram. And is it all one word on YouTube as well? Is it all one word? I forgot to look before when I had your video up.
It's Jedi Arms Dealer, no spaces. But what I do is it's capital J, A, and then D for Jedi Arms Dealer, no spaces. And so I've been abbreviating it as JAD.
You mean on YouTube it's JAD? Or is that for Facebook? I think we lost standby. Jedi Arms Dealer is in the disturbance field.
Yeah.
There you go. You said JID is, or JAD is your YouTube, or that's something on Facebook?
No, that's just the nickname everyone's kind of like using for Jedi Arms Dealer now.
Oh, okay.
Just Jad type of thing. But no, when you go to YouTube, it's Jedi Arms Dealer, no spaces, all bunched together.
Okay. Yeah, so
kind of like how it's shown on the screen,
Okay.
No spaces.
Okay, perfect. So
it's just like that.
Both YouTube and Instagram. You definitely want to follow Jedi Arms Dealer. He's got, as I showed you guys earlier, some of the craziest stuff, and you're working on some crazy stuff. You're working with me on the project called the Sabercraft Big Boy, right?
Yeah.
But I like to call it the Skywalker Legacy hilt.
Yeah.
That's a very, very, very classy hilt. I can't wait till that one comes out.
I got a big crush on that hilt, so I'm trying to do some crazy stuff with it.
Yeah, because you have one of your own. Nuts. So we're actually trying to do it in tandem, to where whatever you do to yours, you do to Daria's, my friend who has that. And it's just gonna be epic. I mean, if anything, I've seen a couple pictures. It's epic, and it's just going to be, everything you do is just like at the pinnacle. I can't wait. It's going to be crazy. Do you have anything coming out relatively soon that people should look out for? Any like videos you're going to be putting out soon, or are you still kind of chugging along working?
Chugging along working. I got a couple new tools in the shop that I've got a learning curve thing going. But like the only 3 projects I have in the queue is the the Sabercraft Big Boy you and I are collaborating on, and then Jeff's LS6. Him and I have been working on that for quite a while, and that's been like I've been needing more precise tools to make that happen, because that's going to be a fully removable chassis. You'll be able to disassemble the whole thing and put it all back together, including the control box. And then I'm actually making, and he already knows this, so I'm not giving anything away. I'm actually making a crystal chamber in this that will have probably 6 or 7 different colored crystals that have magnets on the bottom, and you can swap them out.
Oh wow,
so
that's crazy.
The lights in the Saber will ask for the color, what color crystal it wants to have put inside of it, and so then you put it in, and that's the color it will ignite. It's not RFID or anything like the Disney Sabers, but it's kind of a reverse concept of that, where it'll, in the crystal chamber, it'll start to glow, like pulse like a red color, and then you put that magnetic removable red crystal in the chamber, and then the Saber will fire up red. So yeah, I got a lot of crystal work to do in that one, but they'll be swappable, like 6 or 7 colors of the crystals.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
that
so
kind of reminds me of the Infinity Saber that JB Kuma did, but like you said, I think I don't know if his was RFID, but it was something that
was cool.
Sensed it, yeah.
Yeah, where once the different crystals got popped in, then it would do different things. It's not quite like that, but the thing with the LS6 is it's so small in there that the only way that I could do SD card access and then the programming micro USB port was to literally be able to remove the magnetic crystal, and then you can get to the ports. But when the crystal's in there, they're in the way. So it buys you, this much extra space to be able to put in a 90-degree USB, cable in there. And so that was the idea that Jeff and I came up with. It's going to be crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
That one's taken a while. Yeah. And he's been super patient and cool. But yeah, it might be the toughest thing I've done so far. Is that one.
Wow. That's saying a lot. That's saying a lot for sure.
Because the control box changes everything. For you to be able to remove that control box and then slide the chassis out of that V2 design. And Ethan Zimmer's done a few of those type of thing. And he's done a really good job at it, but just being able to remove that control box and then slide the chassis out of the LS6 is the most challenging part.
Oh, wow.
Because the control box, everything still works in it. The lights blink, and so making that connection removable and then the chassis comes out is the hardest part.
Ooh. That's going to be cool. You're going to need like a macro camera to capture all that goodness whatever you did inside. You're going to need some kind of zoom lens. Sounds tight in there. Yeah, I was just talking about how you're going to need some kind of special camera to record whatever you do in there because it's so tight. You need one of those like cameras that go inside the blood vessel or something like that. So you could show us how you did that.
It is super tiny
because
in there.
I have a couple ideas, but the only ways I can think of it would like short out as it slid in and out. I can't think of how you do it. Yeah,
you got to use. There's these pins that Dimitri posted a while back that you can get on eBay. I forget what they're called, and they're male, like super tiny male female pins that you could cluster in groups. And so yeah, I'll send you the link for that. Those are fun. Those are really cool if you start playing around with those for removable parts.
You have helped me out with so many links and tips and like products that you've tipped me off on and I've ordered, and that just continue to help me. Thank you so much.
Likewise.
Like those little USB,
stuff over the last decade. Watching your videos, like seriously.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Melissa says she's kind of feel like one with the Force, if you know what I mean. I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Absolutely. I did not predict this state we're in right now, though. That was the one thing that just sort of blindsided me. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Well, for some reason, I was kind of focused on it from, I guess it was like early February.
Yeah.
And I wasn't talking too much about it because nobody really wanted to talk about it, but I was like watching it and just following what was going on. And this type of calamity is just there's just something interesting about it, that I was looking and I was following because I thought it was something so strange. And the fact that it like pervaded the whole world, another strange thing that just deserves attention. Like, you have to see where this goes, and I hope everybody stays safe. It's hard to say what the best outcome is going to be. Is it going to be like if everybody that stays indoors and doesn't come in contact with people, is the best outcome that they don't get it and that this fades away? Or is it an inevitability going to come that it's like it's going to touch everybody, and some people are going to have a mild and some people are not, and then it's going to go away that way?
Yeah,
I don't know.
The future is clouded, as Yoda would say on this whole thing. For
yeah,
sure.
The dark side clouds everything.
So I don't know. Some people say it's going to have to run its course through the planet, through society, and then there'll be a larger population that have gotten it and they've gotten over it, and now they're immune to it. And so once the population switches over to the immune people, then we're in a much safer place. But what a price to pay for it to run through society.
That would be awful.
It's tough on the elderly and pre-existing conditions. So it's going to be interesting. We'll just see. I just hope they can come out with a vaccine.
Yeah, that's like the miracle that has to occur, and fast, or else if it's left up to nature's course, it's going to be too much. So it's going to have to be something. It's going to have to be something. But my one friend says vitamin C seems to be like helping people that have it. So I guess that's an easy thing you should have around the house. Take more vitamin C. Sounds simple. Maybe it's too simple. Maybe that's not true. But like I said, I don't think that could hurt. Do whatever you can that you don't think will hurt. If staying inside helps, and then do that. Exercise in your house. My advice is eat a lot. If when you do end up getting ill, your appetite probably goes away a little bit. So I think you want to just kind of try to eat a lot, exercise, do everything that you can do to keep your mind like away from dwelling on those negative things, and then do whatever you can to keep others safe too. And if that means not coming into contact with them, then that means that. Unfortunately, I'm force shielding myself right now. Melissa says, "Yeah, that's really funny." But listen, guys, I'm gonna have to run because I have to go do another stream in like 10 minutes. Comic Book Creation Live number 36, I think, is going to be on Kevin's channel, K. Scott Cosme, in about 10 minutes. If you want to jump over there and continue seeing what I'll be doing, which will be drawing comic books, that'll be going on K. Scott Cosme channel. I want you guys to all subscribe to Jedi Arms Dealer on YouTube. Go over to Instagram and follow him on Instagram as well. There is a couple Jedi Arms Dealers on Instagram, but this is the real one, Jedi Arms Dealer, all one word. Yeah, so I thank all of you guys for stopping in here, commenting, hanging out with us on St. Patty's Day. We had a great time. I had a great time, and JAD, I thank you a lot for being here. This has been a lot of fun. I think I can hear somebody cooking dinner, but I think we lost the audio again for a couple of seconds. You'll probably come back any second. There you are.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah.
I'll start zooming in and out.
That was funny. I could almost hear Barbara like with a plate or something, or like tapping something, but I couldn't hear you.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, she's probably kicking up some awesome dinner right about now.
That's great. That's great. Well, thanks again for doing this. This has been a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
We will do it again for sure. This has been a fun Saber talk. We will be back, and I want you guys to go check out all of JAD's awesome videos. You guys are going to learn a lot from all that intricate detail, and just something to kind of look up to, to aspire to. Maybe create something like that someday, or come up with your own like awesome ideas, like JEDI has done with all these acrylic sabers and different type of sabers that he makes, and really incredible.
There it goes.
You're back again.
Yeah, it's like fading in every once in a while.
All right, so we're gonna blast out of here. We're gonna blast out of here before you lose it again. But
right.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is awesome. Let's do it again.
Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate everybody in here.
Yeah.
Thanks for talking with us. It's been a good time.
A lot of interaction.
Come back end of the week. I'm gonna have Nova Star on end of the week, and maybe even Clinton. I don't know if he's still in here, but Sword of the Jedi, might have him on this week as well for Saber Talk. All right, thanks again, everybody.
Yeah, may the Force be with you.
Saberification systems are go.
There you go.